All right. Um,
Urbanization too.
all right, you guys, we are live. Um, yeah. Morning to the viewers. Oh, uh, let's see what we got here. Uh,
So, if nobody has anything ready right offhand, I know that there was something that I found really interesting earlier this week that I haven't seen talked about much. Um, Over in Ukraine, with all of the drone wars that they've had going on, like back and forth targeting each other with FPV drones. Um, they've been kind of in this tit for tat in terms of, you know, countermeasures, countermeasures, jamming and this and that. So, um, they eventually got to a point where, the electronic countermeasures were getting difficult to continue developing, but they found a cheap solution by uh, just connecting a spool of fiber optic line to the bottom of the drone and sending it out and having it feed out and trail out behind it this long little like fishing line looking just s- spool of
Oh,
fiber optic going out because they can't jam a physical fiber optic line feeding it the data that it needs to control the drone. So once one side figures that out, the other side sees that, and it's like a simple, easy as dirt solution. You build it and attach it. That's simple enough. You got to change the software a bit to run on a physical feed like that as opposed to the radio signals. But I mean,
yeah,
so
it's a matter
there's a town.
it's a
Sorry.
matter of interface, basically. You just
Yeah,
change the interface. And so, sorry I didn't read that article because that's interesting.
there's a town over there that's completely covered in this web of like fishing line
Okay.
looking stuff. It's almost like a spider web. It looks like it's just draped over everything. It's it's nuts. It's gonna take years to clean that up. And
Oh, it is thinking about fiber optic cable. It's the only thing I don't understand is are they using a sort of multi-mode cable to follow it or one strand of single optic? Because that's nearly invisible. And I mean, because a single strand of uh, single optic cable is thinner than your hair. It's like one tenth the size of your hair, and uh, I don't know. Uh, but yeah, I could probably see it done.
would you need more than the one strand in order to successfully communicate like that?
Oh, well, that's the problem. It's a little fragile. It's pretty fragile. Um, I could see probably it being done with multi-mode cable if it has the right padding and cabling, or not cabling, not the uh, casing around it. It has, it always has protection, this stuff. Um, and I assume uh,
That's part of the problem. The casings and stuff that they're putting around these are made of the forever plastics, like the PTFE and PTFs.
mhm,
So that's really bigger part of what's, the cable itself is not as concerning as the plastic pollution that's going to be left behind, I think. I
mhm.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm not a massive
that
expert.
comes from everything all over the world. I mean, you could throw a rock and hit a plastic. So, I mean, there's something else interesting about optic cable. I heard we're running low on sand.
Really?
Oh yeah, well, we're not running low. It's not a critical point, but it's sort of because fiber optics are made from sand and many other things in the world. So it's like, yeah, um, you can't really make new sand to make glass and all these fragile things and or cable. This fiber optic cabling goes for miles, which would be actually really good for if you could attach it to a drone. And yeah, that's very inventive, and that's a smart idea. Sure. Just for them to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
you
I
guys.
mean dirt cheap too. Like when you're just two little, or not little, but two militaries in a small, like comparatively small space, like duking it out, trading blows, tit for tat back and forth over a front line that's, a matter of, like you said, a few miles as opposed to like what's going on in the Middle East in a radius of, you know,
Hmm.
hundreds of miles. Just trailing out a little spool from the back of a quadcopter with a little bomb on the front of it, or camera on the front of it, bomb on its back, spool of fiber optics underneath. Um, yeah, but who's
Chip.
gonna clean it all up and how?
Oh, right, right. Who's it's a valuable resource, an extremely valuable resource, and um, um, it could definitely be recycled. I have no doubt in that, and it, so that's not a problem. Uh, hey,
Hey,
Chip.
Chip.
Um,
Good morning.
yeah, I think you would know about this. The fiber optic cable uh, being used. What was it, Mark?
Yeah,
There.
over in Ukraine, they're using fiber optic cables, um, uh, like from a spool trailing behind a little drone as to make uh, an electronic countermeasure uh, proof um, control signal for it. You can't jam a physical signal or a signal being passed through a physical cable like that, a physical medium. So they're leaving these webs of little fiber optic strands just trailed, draped over entire towns over in Ukraine right now.
That's interesting because technically, And I don't know what information they're sending you, but technically you could put a sniffer on any cable and you can pull out any information that you want. Um,
Well,
that's like what it is.
from
It's like
a
a network tool, and it'll pick up whatever network traffic's on there, unless it's highly encrypted, and then you can't decrypt it. So, um,
right. The
yeah,
network
and
though is the controller, like the FPV drone controller on one end, the uh, signal going through the cable just being fed off of a spool behind a little
oh,
quadcopter with a bomb on it. So they don't have any time to attach a sniffer to it or jam it or do anything unless they manage to sever the cable.
see, that's interesting because I'm a true believer that you could do anything you want to. And in 30, man, what is it? 31 years in IT, I've done some really, really interesting stuff that you shouldn't be able to do. You know, like
Oh,
send emails out as anybody in the entire world, hack into people's computers, do all kinds of stuff because, you get bored at work. Um, so I get that, yeah, there's got to be a way to stop those. Whether they figure that out yet or not is anyone's guess. But if they're still happening, then they haven't figured it out yet. Um, but yeah, that's kind of crazy because drones are going to be one of the hugest part of war in the future. You know, you always see those movies, and I'm thinking of one specific one, but I just can't remember the name. And they had people control the droids who were then fighting in the ring, not themselves fighting in the ring. Um, yeah, it's interesting stuff. But yeah, I uh I watched, like we all probably did, the first Gulf War and all of that stuff, and how we went in there and just plowed over the desert, and that was that. I have a buddy who was in that. Um, it's kind of interesting how that's not going on now, even though I'm assuming that if we were run through the Middle East again, like we did, was that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that we'd be able to just completely flatten the whole place. Not because we're better, but because we have better tech. But yeah, those drones, that's fascinating. Putting on cables on drones, little bombs on the end of it. That's pretty cool.
I was under the impression that they were directly linked. The interface was directly linked to the drone,
yeah,
and
yeah, it
it
is.
Oh
was
yeah.
going like a kilometer.
Yeah,
And
Um,
yeah. It's like
we all,
2 to 3 kilometers max, however much they can spool onto, or however much weight of the spool they can carry.
so
There's
do
a
you
yeah,
think
trade-off. You get less bomb if you give it more spool, but longer range to find people if you know,
yeah,
camera weighs the same either way, right? So,
dark fiber deprecates at on distance. So if you're talking about, 100 feet, it's not a big deal. But if you're talking about like, 300, 400, 500 feet, you're probably not going to get much of a signal through fiber. Um, the other thing about fiber, which kind of blows my mind on this tech that they've got, is that way back when we were putting fiber in as opposed to big cords for disk, if you stepped on a fiber connection, that was it. It was done. You couldn't, it wasn't sending information through anymore. I don't know how they've increased that and made it better because I haven't been in a server room in 15 years or so. But yeah, that kind of interests me that they're flying stuff with fiber through the air. You know, that you kink one of those lines and it's falling out of the sky right on top of your people instead of other people. So like I said they probably made that better since the last time. But yeah, fiber was very breakable.
Well,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
you launch these drones only from the very, very front edge of your front line, you know.
Oh, I get
They
that.
can
It's
only
just like,
blow up over the other guys.
my
Or,
assumption is
yeah.
that they're going so fast and they only have to do one mission. It doesn't really like, probably doesn't take very long to go a kilometer,
yeah,
So
if you have a ton
yeah,
of these with overwhelming force, I guess that would break through a line pretty easily,
yeah.
depending on how big it was. Yeah, it's really interesting. I am a casual news reader. I'll watch the little clickies fall up on top of my screen from like USA Today and AP and all that stuff. But getting deep into the news, ugh, my wife does that. She tells me all the stuff I need to know. So I read Google News and all the headlines. But outside of that, yeah, it's just stuff I talk to my friends about, pick up at work, because who wants to work, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Actually, I
Yeah.
guess that's a bad question to ask here.
Uh, oh,
Who wants
Hey,
to work? Probably everybody. So,
that's
wish I was working.
Mm.
yeah.
I wish I was on the clock right now.
like,
Technically, I
Oh,
am. I get to work 365 days a year because I'm the only person who knows one of the most important things that we do. And it blows my mind how nobody seems to care, especially since I fell down and shook right at work for the first time.
oh,
But hey, it's all good.
What was this?
Uh, oh, when did I have my first seizure?
Um,
The first seizure I had was 2 years ago, I think in April. And I had come back from a week's long vacation, and I always wonder if it's hot, cold turkey that I stopped, which made me have a seizure because I had to go to work and drive. But I dropped off my kid at college, and 20 minutes later, about 10 minutes later, I was at work, and it was on a 60, 70 mile an hour highway. I remember talking to one of the engineers, and I remember what he was talking about. And then the next thing I remember was me screaming in the hospital because I'd hurt my back so bad that I couldn't walk or move. So, yeah, it was interesting stuff.
hmm.
And I ramble, as you guys know.
couldn't imagine you screaming at the top of your lungs.
It was horrible. The guy who found me, I've known him. I was there. He worked with me on the first day, and he found me, and he said the only thing I was doing was screaming back, 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 back. So I don't remember that. They said the paramedics were trying to push me down on the stretcher, and I kept trying to get up, and they kept pushing me down again. So that was good times.
Oh,
Wake up, Pookie.
um, no, I was waiting for the next topic. Mark, you had
I'll go
something,
for it.
or should I pull
yeah,
something?
there was another thing I saw this morning. There was an article about a data center going in. Um, there was this independent startup that had built a data center down in South Florida, and I mean it was right near this neighborhood, and um, one of the big selling points that got the local residents backing behind it was um, the plan to include on-site uh, gas turbine power plants so that it would be completely off their local grid. It wouldn't increase their electricity prices at all. It would entirely be, its own thing. Um, so um, they were, okay with that, and they okayed the plan, the proposal, and whatnot. And when they got it all installed and up and running and everything, the residents realized how much noise a gas turbine makes
Yep.
um, when it's like next to your backyard. And
Yep.
um,
That's what
so
they
I
have
don't know.
issues with wind turbines. But go on.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so it got me thinking. It's a good thing for these plants to um, be off the local residents
Mm,
grid so that they're not being, basically subsidizing the electricity cost of the data center by, paying increased power prices themselves. Um, but the zoning restrictions on gas turbine power plants, I think, need to be folded into um, anything that they're doing with these data centers. I don't know how like this at the state level it could get approval to build a power plant in somebody's backyard like that. It had to have been approved as a data center and just rubber stamped that it's got its own electricity, right? Like,
yeah.
what do you guys think about this?
I don't know. This is the topic where I sit back and listen because I'm curious, but I'm learning from you guys. So I'm here, but I'm taking it all in. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have two thoughts on that. My first thought is, how on earth are they going to use gasoline to power a data center? We have had diesel on the roof that would power a data center if there was a power outage, and you ran through that diesel pretty quick. Again, we're talking about probably 20, 25 years ago, where I was working on that. But that blows my mind
It,
because you can't run stuff on gas. I mean, even if you're talking about if you had a direct line to natural gas and you were fracking every day, you don't
mhm.
have enough power to run that. And I know
Uh,
that 15 years or so ago, they were we moved our data center to the middle of the state because not only did it have cheap electricity, and I don't remember the price, so I'm going to have to make stuff up. If it was 15 cents per kilowatt hour out in the data center we moved to, it was like 2 cents kilowatt an hour. Plus, they had solar and the Columbia River ran through. So you also had hydroelectric. Now that is cheap. That is good. That would make things work. But on the other hand, of not going down different paths, I have to assume that the tax revenue that the city gets, I'm not going to say it offsets the noise, but it must be pretty nice to have the tax implications there. Uh, ages and ages and ages ago, I used to work for Big Oil, and I'm sure that if they don't have a toe in that, that's not going to be around very long because they don't like alternative power sources unless they're making them. So I almost moved up to North Shore, North Slope, Alaska, but somebody else got the job, and honestly, I'm happy I didn't move there. But yeah, Big Oil, they love money and they hate alternate energy. So if Elon wasn't so powerful, I'm sure they probably would have taken him down by now. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. I think I went off the
Yeah,
path a little.
that,
Well,
that was well
just
said. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
just a
I was
point
gonna.
So
of
what?
clarification. Yeah, gas turbine power plant is referring to liquid natural gas, not gasoline.
Yeah.
So
So we're
there's
talking about
yeah,
LNG, natural fracking
mm,
gas.
there's a gas line there, and it burns much cleaner than gasoline does. And there are
Yeah.
far higher EPA controls on natural gas. So it's a lot friendlier.
Yeah, natural
And
gas is a lot cleaner. I don't know about price, but I'm not
I
sure
mean
about that. But I know my electric
it,
bill's gone up lately.
the price is yeah, compared to gasoline, it's yeah.
Pretty nominal. Like my favorite Buffalo
If
Sabres.
only um road going vehicles could get their power from. Well, hey, I guess technically most um electric cars on the road power their batteries up with liquid natural gas.
Yeah, and they Amazon out here, every third vehicle on the road is an Amazon van. And I don't remember the last time I saw gas-powered Amazon vehicles. They're all hybrid or full electric. I think
Yeah,
most of them are full electric, but even the buses around here are full electric now, which is crazy.
Wow.
But
That's
hey,
nice.
I
why not,
don't
man? I'm in
Yes,
the
yeah.
chillest state in the country.
I don't remember the first time that I noticed an Amazon van, like delivery van, being full electric. When did I mean, now
Um,
I can't remember the last time, but I can't pinpoint when that transition was made, and it's kind
I
of
don't
interesting to me now.
Yeah,
I don't
neither
know when
do
it was
I.
made, but I remember when the first time I seen one because they parked like where there was an alley right behind my window in the apartment I used to stay in. And then one day I didn't hear the beeping from the truck reversing. It changed to another noise. And then I look out the window and I was like, is that a truck? And I go down there and the side of it says Amazon. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they got new trucks, I guess. And every time I see one after that is a new truck and a different reverse sound because I forgot what the last one sounded like, but it wasn't like this one. Yeah,
I
Yeah,
guess
they
they
the
switched a
the
actually,
while ago.
point of a reverse noise is to make you turn your head and figure out what's going on, then changing it up every single day might actually be a good way to go. Or just cycle through like a dozen different like background noises,
yeah,
like cell phone ringtone options and stuff.
yeah.
Maybe
When
let the
was the
driver
last
pick
time?
which backup noise they want to listen to on their driving shift. How about that?
When
Give the
was the last
drivers a
time?
little bit of control.
When was the last time you actually cared about hearing a car alarm go off outside and thought, hey, someone's stealing a car? Never. I never
I
think
need to
about
go.
that.
I'm like,
So
whoa, somebody's car.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's the same thing. You hear backup noises and you're like, ah, who really cares? I hear that all the time. And
Well,
then,
do you
so if they
think
actually changed those, if they changed the noises, that actually might make it so that people are more aware. So that's
yeah.
actually pretty interesting.
What,
Do you
like,
think that
Yeah,
that's a bit of like the
get the fuck out of the
bystander
way?
effect with the car alarms? Is it just a like, oh, somebody else will notice and take care of it? Or do you think it's more of an actual matter of annoyance and that it's normally not actually being stolen, like
Oh yeah,
90% of the time, you know, because
there
it
was.
seems like it could be, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
It's interesting because I live in a development. It's probably got, I have no idea, 300 houses. And the Facebook page talks about when bad stuff happens, when cars are stolen. And the only car I remember stolen in our development, and we're not gated or anything like that. We're just, just a development you walk through. The last time I heard a car stolen was about a year ago. My next door neighbor actually got it stolen, and I was able to pull up my stupid security video so he could send it to his insurance company. But I think it's just desensitization where
Nailed
you
it.
don't hear it. So it's like the old story about if one person was walking past a river and someone was drowning, they'll save them. But if 100 people heard that person drowning, nobody's going to save them because they're going to assume somebody else is going to do it. So I feel like that's along the same path as if you hear backup noises, you don't listen to them. Beep, beep, beep. Who really cares, I do know that at places like Les Schwab and Costco and all the other places that do tire stuff and car stuff, they beep multiple times coming out of the bays. And that's more unusual because there's not the same pattern. So you kind of notice that. But your car alarms, all that stuff, I don't care. I don't hear them. I don't listen to them. So, and again, I think I wandered off path again.
No. Yeah, I was following. Yeah, yeah. I'm just
Yeah, I think
amazed.
maybe the backup noise is more of a practical, like immediate area. If you hear a random beep, 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 like right next to you, then you know to turn your head. Probably will just do it instinctively, whether you consciously process it or not. Whereas if you're far enough away, if you can hear it's far enough away that it's not actually a threat, you probably wouldn't automatically trigger a fight or flight sort of, go look and
Yeah, if it
see.
was, yeah,
It's
if it was
already
blasting
registered
in
as
your
not a
ear,
threat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, with the newer Amazon trucks, there's the noise is like it's not a screaming in your parking lot anymore. It's more of a whisper now. It's like a ksh,
Yeah,
ksh,
it's
ksh,
like
ksh.
those, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like those Teslas and stuff. They make weird noises.
So
So,
if you're not necessarily near it, you might not hear it. Like when it changed sounds and it was in my apartment complex parking lot, um, people would hear it out of the window because the first time I heard it, I looked out the window and seen it in the alley. And then I looked at all the windows across the alley, and there's people looking out their windows like, "What is that noise?" But it was just a weird noise. It was a ksh, ksh, ksh. They changed it from the beeping noise, which was really annoying at first, but it changed, and now it's just that. But yeah, it is something that gets your attention, but it's not something that'll annoy you if you hear it too long because it's very, it's not loud. So yeah,
it's crazy with desensitization though, because up here, I've almost been run over like 100 times because I walk everywhere. And I'll stop at a corner and I'll let all the cars pass before I walk. But then I'll see people walking across the street, not even crosswalks. They don't look both ways. They just keep hustling away, especially if it's a crosswalk where you're going to get the light and stuff. They just go. And I'm like, are you crazy? But people just do it. And again, it's just they get desensitized to people running you over. And that's why I won't drive ever again because I don't want to run people over. It's one of those things.
I think we were talking about the other day. It's scary for pedestrians too.
Yeah,
We don't like the car people, because
yeah,
they make half stops through four-way stop crossways. That's what we have in our
yeah.
state. We have four-way stops, and yeah, they don't stop. They press on the gas the stop pedal at the stop sign. So we're halfway out into the street
Yep.
and, you know,
Yeah. Well, the stop sign just means you need to make your brake lights turn on, right? That's it.
Yeah, and we used to talk about it when I was a kid. The stop signs with the white border were optional because all of the stop signs had a white border on them. So, but
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
yeah,
That's cool. Is
optional.
that like the sovereign citizen argument? The
Right.
flag with the gold fringe around it is admiralty, and you cannot try an individual under a military court of justice if you know this and that. You have no authority over me. Something.
Hmm.
Come on. Oh, yeah, that's I
I
like
hear
that. The white
noises in the
border.
pipes. The pipes are right there in my office. So somebody's up there. So it's only 9:40. Why should anybody be up, right? Anyway,
On a Saturday, right? Right?
yeah.
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 we
Yeah.
got the nice afternoon over here, East Coast.
Yeah.
My
Uh,
house is asleep.
the whole house is asleep.
Well, I live with just my mom and her dog, so I mean, my house. I guess my house wouldn't be too big then. But
So
yeah,
the
the
whole
dog
the
and my
whole
mom is
house
asleep.
then the whole house is asleep. It sounds more
Yeah, the
dramatic when you say it that way. Come on.
yeah, my
Yeah.
mom's dog. She just like, you get up, she's like, oh, just making sure who it is, and then lay down and go back to sleep. Uh, other than
Check
that,
to
yeah,
make sure you're safe, right?
or to make sure who I was and what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
I
Well,
always go, what are you
that's checking to
staring at?
make sure you're safe. You got you might not be safe for his mama, you know.
I
You
was
might
just like, every time I
you
walk
can't take
by
for
and she like looks
granted
at me,
that
I'm like, what are you staring at? And she
yeah,
does the same thing every time. And I say, what are you staring at? She just lays back down.
you
Yeah.
can't take for granted that it's gonna be the same person coming out of the bedroom that went into the bedroom the night before. When you're a dog, you need to
Yeah.
check these things.
Yeah, that was the same thing we talked about yesterday was my mom's dog. Like I went in the bathroom yesterday during the podcast and I'm like, I gotta use the
Oh,
bathroom really bad. And I waited till the last minute just to get my words across. I mean, get out what I had to say. And then I was like, oh, I forgot what I was talking about.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
then I
We
was in
talked.
the bathroom, and usually I'll just go in the bathroom because it's right here across the hall, and then the living room is way down the hall. So I just go in the bathroom right here. The dog's in there, and at first she's standing in front of me, just looking up at me, and I'm like, move so I can go to the bathroom. And then she just looks at me, turns, and sits. And yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. She's probably here to protect. That's what she seemed like she was doing. I was like, Mom, what do I do? And she's like, just tell her to get out. And I tell her to get out, and she just sits down and looks at me just all nonchalantly. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. My mom's like,
Yeah,
just go before
yeah,
you pee on yourself. I was like, all
yeah.
right.
Well,
Accept the
techno,
protection. Just
you
Yeah.
know,
you're that
they
much
might
safer.
the dog might be protecting the toilet. You never know. You know,
Oh,
you're in the toilet's way.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, you're peeing
That's
on
true.
it, right?
I
Maybe the
know that's not
toilet
true, but
doesn't
that's
want that.
funny.
Yeah,
It
because it's
wants.
like when I go in the bathroom, she'll be sitting there and like sitting in front of the toilet. Like when I first came in, she's in front of the toilet looking at me, and I'm like, by the way. Then she goes around me and stands behind me. Then when I look back, like, what are you doing? Then she sits down like she's there to use the bathroom too or something. And yeah, my mom's like, when I use the bathroom, she just wanders all between my legs and jumps on my lap and stuff. Um,
Because that's
yeah,
what you want.
I don't have pets. I mean, that are mine personally. Because the yeah, I'm a me person. I don't know if I could deal with an animal all day, just like to own it, because then I have to pay attention and care for it and all that. I like animals, but I don't want to own one.
And we have two cats and two birds. So, and the cats will lie down in the bed or on the windowsill and look out the window, and their fat will go into the bird cage, and the birds don't really care. They won't go down and bite them. I don't know. It's a strange little group. So,
Mm. Having a cat or a dog seems like owning a child for 13 to 16 years.
yeah, try owning a
You,
bird.
you'll you'll never get that, but from my point, I've had lots of cats in this house, but it's just like constant taking care of them, and uh, nothing against them. It's just like, you know,
Yep. Oh, it's
yeah.
painful. That's why I won't get a dog. I don't want to leave the house to go walk a dog two, three, four times a day. That's madness. And then the worst part is you have to get a little baggie and you have to pick
Right.
up their stuff from a wet lawn. And it's like, man, I don't want to do that. That's
Have
disgusting.
you have you guys seen the like videos of those people who've managed to potty train their pet cats?
Yep.
Oh my
We
God,
tried
that would
that.
be so convenient. Ah,
We actually tried that. We got a kit and it was like it fits over the toilet bowl and it's got a, circle in the bottom, an indentation. It looks like those ones that people use in the hospital. And you put litter in there and they jump up there and they pee and poop into the litter and then you transition them to have no stuff underneath. And then they just go in there. No, we never got it to work ever. We tried a couple times and that was it. So that's
mm.
too hard. But I
Oh,
know
no.
people successfully do that.
Oh my, Poofy is turning out to be surprisingly intelligent. When I first adopted her, I always thought of her as like the dumb one. But she's a really good problem solver. We got her this little puzzle toy. We drop in little kibble pieces, and it's got this clear dome and holes and everything, and she just goes right at it, knows exactly how to solve it. When we set up a whole new configuration, she just looks at it and knows, goes there, there, there.
Yeah.
Um, so I think she would be eh, smart enough to learn to do it, but potentially smart enough to like get what's up and like intentionally try to make it difficult and not cooperate, you know. Like just be a cat,
The cat
let
laugh
the,
they
the
laugh
cat
at you at
run.
night.
Yeah.
So
Well, I've got cameras on them, so I can see exactly what they're doing all night. And yeah, there's
pure evil.
shenanigans. There's shenanigans. This
Yeah.
bookshelf is off limits during the day, and they know it. But I have video evidence of cats next to the lava lamps.
What's
Now,
funny is my mom's dog, she's a dog. So it's funny when we always go outside and she has her water bowl is one of those like Home Depot orange buckets. And she will go and she loves other animals. She's playful with them, but she ends up killing them. We always find like a bird or a rat inside of her water bucket. And
Oh,
it's often. So we gotta check it, check it when you wake up. Is there a rat in there this morning? Is there a little bird in there? She caught a
they're
hummingbird.
bringing you back. They're
Yeah, she
bringing
caught
you
a
back
hummingbird. I don't know
presents.
how that happened. I thought they were fast.
They are. That's
It
pretty
was
she's
good.
in the water
faster.
bucket.
That's the point. She's faster. So you don't need to worry about catching hummingbirds. She's got that for you.
Yeah, she'll find rats out back and put them in her water bucket, and then we're like looking in the camera, like, what's that dark thing in her water? And go to the bowl, and it's a rat, like huge
Hmm.
rat. She plays with them. We see her on camera, like jumping on it, like pouncing on it, and then the rat will jump, and then she'll chase it. I was like, she's playing with it like an animal. I mean, like a cat, just like
It's a
playing with it,
toy.
slinging it around, and looking at
Yeah.
it run, and then chase it, torture in the rat.
Does she do snakes?
Surplus
Um,
killing. Not the only species, humans. Yeah.
yeah, she enjoys playing. That's her thing. Playing, I think it is. She's just really playful. So when she sees something like I said, like a rat or a bird or something moving, she'll chase it.
Yeah. I mean, it's an instinct to hone those hunting skills, practice and everything. And there's another instinct there to know your place in the dog pack hierarchy. And so there's a an element of acknowledgement that, you offer the gifts to the dogs higher in your dog pack hierarchy than you are. So, um, yeah, it's a present, and she was making sure to stay as deadly as she has ever been. War games, right? Just
We
you know, just
a
like we
lot of the
do off
cat.
the
So
coast and stuff with the Navy and everything.
Have you guys ever heard of a Malinois German Shepherd or Malinois Shepherd?
Malinois, I
Malinois.
think
There we go.
maybe. I think maybe.
Um,
I think it's French.
yeah, check it
Maybe.
out. My mom has
Malinois.
Well,
my mom
I don't
has
know.
the regular German Shepherd, but we were watching videos on
Yeah,
YouTube of the
Belgian.
Malinois, or what is it? What did you say? Malinois Shepherd.
Malinois. Yes.
Yeah, those dogs run up walls and stuff and like run up trees. You got to check out the video. They're like used for the army and stuff. But my mom's dog can, she's a regular shepherd and she could jump a gate higher than me. Um,
hmm,
yeah, my mom will be like, put her on the leash. She's like, I'll mow the lawn. But if we leave her off the leash while I mow the lawn, she'll run away and hop the gate. And yeah, if she breaks off the leash, she'll hop the gate and take off and be gone. Um, yeah, so we got to keep an eye on her. Um, yeah, it's cold. Um, oh yeah, what I was gonna say is the other day we watched my mom's dog. Well, no, not we didn't watch her run away, but she hopped the gate and ran away, and she was gone for I think like 4 days. We couldn't find her, um, and then she just came back. She just like trotted up back to the door and was like, "Hey, I'm here," and then she had like blood all over her, and she's a really playful dog. So I was telling my mom is maybe she got curious with some animal, and the animal didn't want to play, and then she didn't know any better when it probably attacked her. Is what I was thinking, because she had blood on her but no scars. So I'm thinking she's not a angry dog at all. But I was like, yeah, she probably just messed with the wrong thing. It didn't want to play. It attacked her, and she knew to do what she had to do to live, basically. Um, yeah. You guys as animals ever fight with other animals? That's what it seemed like they were fighting. Yeah.
I've been lucky and all my animals have gotten along pretty well. So I mean I had a bird, a little parakeet when I was a kid, and we used to just have a gate up over the door and the cats wouldn't go in there and bother the bird, and the bird would just fly around the room all day. I mean, it
Nice.
was crazy, but my mother told me how they had a dog, a cat, and a bird when they were growing up, and the bird would land on the cat's head and play with its whiskers. And I can't believe that happened, but both my aunt and my mother said that it happens. So I believe my aunt, so I don't believe my mother. But that's a different story. I have to go see what's going on upstairs though, really quick. So I'm gonna pop off and I'll probably be back on in a few. So
All
unless we have
right.
to smoke pot. So but yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. But thanks for having me come in. And like
No
I say, I'm gonna
problem.
go see what's going on and I'll probably be back in a few. And
All
thank
right.
Sure.
you.
Nice having you. Um, One thing I did have on the thing on the little docket I have is B12 because I take a lot of B12 by Nature's Made. Shout out to Nature's Made. Also, yeah, I didn't know that B12 had many side effects as it has, but yeah, Mark, did you know about B12 side effects? I didn't know I can overdose on B12. Well, not overdose, but take too much. I didn't know that was a thing. Um,
Yeah, like skin flushing and itching and stuff. I think maybe I remember um I don't know. I remember reading about it and so I because like um taking a B complex vitamin supplement back before I knew that I had epilepsy and was consuming um, multiple energy drinks daily led to a really extreme amount of B vitamins. But I don't think that I ever got to a point of actual overdose. I think there was enough spread between them all. But that's when I remember reading about it. So, but I don't remember the symptoms offhand. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts, Kevin?
And B12, well, sure, anyone can overdose on anything, any substance, any food, but and your body has to be in balance and know how much you're taking and putting into your body. Uh, Once again, with any substance, I'm taking vitamin D because it's directly related to uh, the Depakote that I take. It targets bones. And so, just, but if I took more than the amount that I'm prescribed, if I took like 50 pills a day, it's not gonna grow my bone back. I'll probably
right.
I'll get probably kidney stones and bone spurs and weird shit like that. Yeah, so you got to take stuff in um, normally prescribed uh, amounts. You got to really talk with your doctor about that.
Yeah, it looks, from what I'm seeing here, it looks like B6 is the most common culprit behind the B vitamin overdose. B12 can also be a cause or a source, but more often when it's being administered in the form of like those uh, B12
Syringe.
shots, rather
Yeah.
than through like too many gummies or whatnot. So um, there's that. Um, that's not to say, you know, go for it with the B12 gummies, just don't eat B6 or B complex, but mm, just there's
Good to
there's
know.
that. The B12 seems a little bit safer than the others, but I don't. thing. I don't know. Do they each have particular benefits to them? Like, are they that different from each other, or is the fact that they're all called B vitamins mean that they're basically interchangeable in terms of their bodily function?
There is a direct difference between all the Bs. Um, B12 specifically, it comes from animal products. So that's a big problem for vegetarians and vegans. They cannot get any B12. And I uh, I you got to look through each one of them, and because I don't know, I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but yeah, you get a lot of them through the rest of them. It's the best way to I would say is through diet. Just get your fruits and your vegetables and nuts and stuff like that, and salmon and good meats. And yeah, I think yeah. Like I
Yeah.
had a mango this morning, and I think that's B6. B9 is phosphate. I think that's a mango or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like for vegetarians at least, dairy products and eggs contain
Oh
um,
yes.
good good values, but
Cheese. Yeah.
the vegan options, it looks like they're referring to fortified foods. And that begs the question in my mind, where are they getting the B12 to fortify those foods with? Is it truly vegan if they're
Literally
pulling
none.
B12 out of like eggs and putting it in the yeast and then saying vegan fortified with, or are there actual like plant sources of B12 that they need to process in large quantities in order to get their, I don't
There
know.
are no plant sources of B12.
None?
Well,
None.
yeah, some seaweeds, I guess, maybe contain very small amounts of B12, not considered a reliable source. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
and so the B12 isn't interchangeable with something that isn't, are all the bees like that? Or,
they're very healthy for you. I mean, all of these, when you consider the entire list, this diet, eating these foods are incredibly healthy. I mean, uh, I don't have the list in front of me, but it's incredibly important to remember to hit all these, the dark greens, the cruciferous vegetables, the vegetables, yeah, and have a very diverse diet. Um, yeah.
So, Kevin, one thing I have for you is since you are not vegan, but what are you? You said you. Um,
I stick mostly to the Mediterranean diet, but I do eat red meat. I will eat it, but
yeah, my question was like when you switch up your diet like that in certain ways, do you replace what you're missing in your diet with other supplements?
what do you mean?
Uh, I forgot. It was like someone had stopped eating something. I forgot what it was. It was someone in my family, but they had stopped eating something and they started taking. I can't even remember what she started taking. She started taking something else because she said she doesn't have it in her diet anymore. Um, I was just thinking, is that something you did?
Okay, well, milk. I don't drink milk. I don't drink milk from a cow because it creeps me out, and I don't think
Really?
humans should drink um,
Cow's
juice.
milk?
It's it just seems unnatural. But I do eat dairy. I don't know why. It seems like a that is I know contradiction, but
Can you eat
so
Oreos
hmm,
without milk? Is it possible to eat an
yes,
Oreo?
I do drink milk though. Milk is not limited to cows. I drink almond milk,
I do
uh,
too.
which has all the
That's not the same for an
Look at
Oreo
Mark's
cookie.
face.
I know.
That's not the same for an Oreo.
Well,
That's
no,
not the
except
comfort food.
We definitely got to talk about almond milk and milk on
No,
the
it's not.
next
It's
show.
not almond milk itself. It's the comfort food of dunking Oreos in a glass of milk is a thing in itself, and almond milk does not substitute in that comfort food entity. It's not Oreos and milk or Oreos and almond milk. It's Oreos and milk, and it's just
I know.
it's not like pineapple on pizza, Almond milk has its there's almond
Well,
milk in this house, and
If
almond butter. It's
you
not
despise of it?
no,
Oh,
but I don't use it with Oreos. We have
got you.
we have dairy
I
milk for that.
I don't really eat any Oreos, which can be. You were talking about
Probably for the best.
what are they? I'm going to call them macarons,
Okay.
macarons. That's the kind of cookie they are. I think
Um, I get
macarons.
Mac
Is that two
I
macarons.
cookies? I'm gonna look that up.
I have
Um,
bad like lactose problems, so milk just isn't an option. I mean, it is because I had drunk it for a long time just because I loved
if you
cereal.
just
I'm a
want to
big
suffer
cereal
through
fan,
it, you can
really
just
big cereal fan. So
power
once upon
through
a
it.
time, I was just drinking it. I mean, not drinking it, but using it for my cereal just because I like cereal. Um, but then I was like, yeah, this is making me have stomach aches. Something is obviously wrong. And then I looked up stuff about um, lactose free and all that. And I started off drinking Lactaid, which is just lactose free milk. Um, and then someone said that, no, my son said that he liked almond milk. And I said, I'll try it. And from there on, it's been my substitute.
So I think
And
things based in nuts are really good. Nuts are really good for they're just solid protein, and so uh,
Oh, can I
oh
real quick? B12, industrial production of B12 is achieved through a bacterial fermentation process.
oh yeah, right.
So it's not yeah. So yeah, I that there was that. So it sounds like the fortified food sources doesn't sound like there should be too much of an issue in terms of keeping vegan with that. Um, but that,
So they're
bacterial
basically
fermented stuff before it's extracted out of that multi-step fermentation process is probably not a food source in and of
mm,
itself. Maybe maybe
I
like
mean,
animal feed, but
um, we got a comment here from Angel. It says, with Mediterranean diet, you can find all your vitamins like testosterones. You can eat walnuts.
I like
uh,
walnuts.
testosterone.
That's what it says.
Okay,
Um, and this is coming from the audience.
all
We got
right.
a take it for face value.
I hope he's not
I'm
eating
not sure.
testosterone.
I'm not sure what's.
I'm not calling you. I'm just joking with you, Angel. Um, um, yeah. With the with the when you try to spread out,
Low
um,
carb, organic Mediterranean diet rich in healthy fats, seafoods, and vegetables can significantly increase testosterone levels.
Oh, nice.
okay, then
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Smart man, that angel.
okay, then yeah.
Angel has all the testosterone.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
ladies must love the testosterone
healthy
out there.
fats, zinc and magnesium, and antioxidants are all key factors in that. That sounds like so. Yeah. Legumes, whole grains, shellfish, leafy greens, olive oil, avocados, and nuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
All good, all good.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, come back to me. I'll double back on the memory. Oh, it's
Uh,
there somewhere.
I'm gonna look up that B12 stuff.
Um, I
Or
have here that it could cause acne, nausea, dizziness, headaches, and diarrhea. Hmm.
actually,
That's
I'm more curious. Oh, those are terrible side
uh,
effects, but
it just says
um,
from excess supplements like B12, you can get acne,
yeah,
nausea,
yeah.
dizziness, headaches, diarrhea. Uh, yeah, I
So
don't want any.
no, 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 none of those ones. Mark, you said they harvest bacteria to grow B12. Is there anything else in harvesting that whatever it is, like, because I imagine in the future we're going to be growing some sort of petri dish kind of food because there's going to be food shortages.
I mean, all that it said was that it's produced at an industrial scale in a multi-step fermentation process. So there's a lot of stuff like that. That's, a lot of molecules that are too complex to synthesize. So they rely on some sort of biosynthesis pathway if they can find it. So, you know, B12 is a natural molecule, so it was pretty straightforward to get that. Um, I mean, not I don't want to say pretty straightforward and like trivialize the work that was done to do that. It's, when it said multi-step fermentation process, that sounds like it's actually it was a pretty technical process when it was first developed and implemented. So, um,
So no Soylent Green?
probably not.
Not yet.
I
Okay.
don't, I don't
Um,
see, I don't see animal products being gone anytime soon. It just,
No.
there's,
At the record extension rate, 0.01%. Right now, we'll see.
the record, what?
Sorry, it was just a number off the top of my head. I think where the extinction rate we're at right now is the rate of unnatural extinction in the world is I think 0.01%.
do you know that um, B12 deficiency can also lead to deep depression, paranoia, delusions, memory loss, incontinence, amongst other things. I did not know that. Um, Very interesting.
Continents.
They said it can be sneaky and harmful. Um, a student from Harvard Health says that a severe vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to deep depression, paranoia, and delusions, memory loss, incontinence, amongst other things. And did not know that. Good to know. Um, when it comes to like, I forgot what you said. What makes B12? But where do the animals get it from when you eat them? How do you like? How are they like producing? What is it? B12 like fish. People say they get their B12 from eating fish.
Oh, just eat it. I'm not sure I understand the question. Sorry.
I mean,
Um,
like I know the fish isn't eating B12 gummies like me, so you're not going to get B12 from eating me like you would from it. But when you get B12 from eating the fish, where's this fish getting the B12 from? Is what I'm asking, basically.
I don't know. All animals are different.
From the
All
plankton and bacteria that they eat and filter out of the water that they're living in. You know, they're and then the smaller fish feed the bigger fish, and that's where those get their B12 from and stuff. I mean, the entire food chain from the bottom up basically starts with plankton, for the most part, and some sort of bacteria, um,
Um,
in the ocean.
Mhm.
That entire ecosystem is plankton, plankton
That's
on
it.
up,
It's
and those are
circular. So everything's a circle. Everything's connected. You can't take out a huge part without causing huge damage. And plankton are disappearing at a huge rate. And are
oh wow.
cause for concern.
When you say plankton, it makes me think of plankton from SpongeBob.
I know. So everyone's cheering. Good for them.
um, I was talking to my mom yesterday about a job she used to work at because we met a woman. I was going to say the name of the grocery store. We met a woman at the grocery store, and she was telling us about the Church of Scientology she goes to. And then my mom started talking to her about how she used to work at one of those. So then I'm tuned in as a side character. I'm like, I didn't know you worked at a Church of Scientology, and I didn't know that there was a church that I didn't know Scientology was a thing. I thought it was like I thought that was a job or something. I know Scientology was a basically she said a religion almost. Um, yeah, so I found that out yesterday also. Yeah, I don't know what science you can be religious about or what it is. I
Oh,
haven't done any research on it basically, but from what my mother was telling me, she said they were very mean. She worked at the front desk. She said they were very mean, very rude, very unfiltered, and they were careless when they said things to you. There was like no emotion to things that they told that they would say to you or stuff like that. I got to look more into this to talk about next time. But yeah, these are things she was telling me that these people
oh
tread
are different.
carefully. Tread
oh
carefully.
oh.
Um, yeah, she said these people were different. Yeah, they were very rude and mean about
No, they
things. She
are
said,
amazing. Michael Cabbage is a very special man, and we mean no offense. Please do not sue us. And that was definitely not sarcastic.
uh,
Definitely
no.
not.
Huh.
Is that what you said?
Hmm?
Um,
Did
yeah,
you
they'll
say
think how they want
definitely
to
not
think.
sarcastic?
And,
Yeah, you guys
And
take your opinions for whatever we say.
uh,
could
they're a
I
very
don't know.
litigious group, let's just say, and
group.
yeah, they will be watching this.
Will? Really?
They watch everything, and
How would they find this?
they
I hope
will.
they do.
Should we
Give me a
just
call,
keep
Church of
mentioning the
Scientology.
organization to keep getting views on this? Just casually mention once each episode so that
Yeah,
they
let's
have
do
to
that.
keep coming back and watching these. I don't know.
Hey, Mark, I got something for you.
Oh,
Tell them to press that like button and whatever else you got to say with that.
smash that like button. Yeah. Uh, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Yeah.
Love it. Um,
The most unenthused YouTuber on the internet.
Oh, I love
um,
it. That's great.
we got a comment here from Angel. It says a few actors and actress were in the church. Um,
Yes.
I
There are
did
a
look
lot
at
of
that
very
because we talked
prominent.
about that.
Yeah,
She
there's a
told me
lot.
that she told me that the one guy from I mean the lady from Lisa Remini, I think her name is
Leah
Leah
Remini.
Remini.
If you want to learn about Scientology, look up what she has to say about it. She will give
Yeah.
you an honest, unfiltered opinion.
Yeah,
You will not get that level of honesty from most other people in
yeah. I was thinking they were
the
going to kill her or
wide
something.
internet. There are
She was giving all the juice. She was throwing out
there
everything. I seen a little doc,
there's
not a documentary. I seen um, basically people saying that were against what she said, calling her a liar and stuff. And then
well,
I seen
They
her
were doing,
interview saying that what she said, and then I see why those people turned
there's
down what she said and said it was a
there's
lie. But yeah, I seen her interview and she said a lot, and she was honest. She was brutally honest. She threw out the information.
there's
And John
also
Travolta and
oh
Matthew
I
yeah,
can't,
McConaughey. She said no, not Matthew McConaughey. Was it?
Tom Cruise,
Uh, huh?
Tom Cruise,
Tom Cruise. There we go. I'm
Tom
sorry, Matthew
Cruise is
McConaughey, if
like
you do see
it's
this.
like an entire special status in
Mm.
the organization. It sounds like he can do whatever he wants, basically. Um,
Yeah, she
I
said
think
people
I don't
get
know.
out of that,
But
well, not out of that community, but they, uh,
I mean, their headquarters is just like a 2 hour drive down the road
I didn't know they had a
St.
headquarters. I thought it was a
Petersburg.
church.
Basically, St. Petersburg, Florida is like an entire Scientology city with their whole big. I mean, it started over in California there, and they've got a huge presence in Los Angeles and Hollywood and stuff, but they've got a um, I mean, it's like a I don't know. Yeah, you should watch Leah Remini's documentary about it.
We did.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I forget his name, but there's a British guy. He did one too. My Scientology movie, he called it, and he kind of shows a lot of how they behave towards um,
Anyone
people
not part of the thing.
people asking questions about it. People
Yeah, they don't
outside
like
of
that.
the organization asking questions are not welcome to, you know.
The
And
lady in the grocery store was very
anybody
helpful.
who in any way believes that psychology is is anything except outright lies, They completely deny like the entire field of psychology as a massive scam.
Oh,
Uh,
I think that's
Um,
what they call it. It's not a religion, it's an alternative to psychology. Isn't
mm,
that what?
yeah, it's a mental health treatment. I mean, they do have that Narcanon that, you know, ostensibly is um helping addicts get off of their addiction, modeled off of AA essentially. But um, you know, that's the thing. Yeah, they
I
label it
did.
as a church for, based on the charitable work that they do, but
It,
the
that's
income to
that's a red herring. All that
yeah,
donation shit. Because
it's
I've always had an admiration, let's say, for modern religions, how they develop. Because we all think we're so smart, but let's say Mormonism and Scientology, started by a science fiction
Mormonism.
writer. Hmm?
You said Mormonism?
Mormonism, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
it's
A
it's
guy,
a new American
yeah, a guy
spiritual
found tablets
religion.
in the woods, and everyone just took his word for it.
I
Very
was
good.
baptized Mormon, so I
Well,
get it.
nobody saw the tablets, but they didn't exactly take his word for it. They had
Oh,
the one guy who went with them, but he wasn't allowed to see the tablets directly, but he was allowed to be there with Joseph Smith as he read off of the tablets and
all
dictated
right.
to them. The South Park has done
Um,
extremely good episodes on both
Yes.
Mormonism and Scientology. Um,
what I was gonna say
and the
was
oh the episode that they did on Scientology, all of the credits they changed to, the
Yeah, that was
last
funny.
credit to Smith. They can't sue anybody because nobody took credit for the episode. It was all, created
That
by
was
Trey Smith and Matt Smith and directed by so and so Smith and voiced by it's X Smith, Y Z Smith.
that was
It's
very funny. Yeah.
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 when I met the lady at the grocery store. She was kind of like you said. She wasn't defensive at all. She was kind of happy. Um, hey, Chip, I don't know if you know about Scientology, but I used to. My mother told me she used to work at a church of Scientology, and that she met a lot of mean and different people. Yeah, she said
I'm
those
pretty
people are
sure.
mean. She said those people are mean, and she worked at the front desk where I guess they come in. I don't know how it works, but she was like, "Yeah, I used to work at the front desk, and people used to come in and be mean to each other and stuff like that." And I looked up as much as I could. I was up till 2 o'clock last night to be here at 8, just to look at like a documentary with Leah Remini and a few other YouTubers got videos with people talking about it. I did not know that Scientology could be a
It's good.
religion.
Your mother
Um,
worked
Well,
at a
yeah,
at
religion is
the
a word that they fought very difficult to get like official status for also. So there are some who disagree with that title, would use a term a bit harsher.
yeah,
Um,
I got something here. It says a Scientology founded by L. Ron Hubbard in 1954 is a controversial new religious movement teaching that humans are immortal extraterrestrial spirits called thetans trapped in physical bodies. It promotes self awareness through auditing, a counseling process using e-meter to clear past traumas. Famous members include Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
mm,
Um,
Yep.
Yeah, if you
Close
have
enough. Yeah.
problems with mental health, it's not because of anything related to the field of psychology. That's all bullshit. It's because there are these like disembodied aliens that were killed long ago by being thrown into a volcano and blown up with a hydrogen bomb.
Wow.
And so the disembodied spirits of these aliens are floating around and trying to um, find a physical body that they can attach to, and those attached um, thetans um,
I
are
mean,
the cause of all mental health problems. And so you go through the auditing process with e-meters that they make, which are basically just little voltimeters with two cans that you hold and just measures skin conduction essentially. Um, and
considering that,
so,
I mean, doesn't this story sound a little familiar?
what do
I
you
mean,
mean?
you feel bad because something inside you is wrong. That's the bottom line of that story. That's what they're saying. I mean, Scientologists are a little mean about it, but they're saying you feel bad because there's something wrong with you. You and you can't change it unless you give something to us.
So you're
So,
talking about Christianity.
well, let's just say,
I know you're not, but I'm saying
well,
I know nothing about religion. I am an anti-religionist, but
I'm
I don't know much. Um, I mean, about um, what's it
let's say
called? The Church of
let,
Scientology. I don't know much about that topic in
let's just
particular.
say power lies where men let it. Right? You know,
my thought
There's
about the whole thing is I've lived in extremely red states and I've lived in extremely blue states. And there's two things that bother me, period. The first one is just like everything else, just like abortion, just like everything, man. Live and let live. Let people have their own opinions. Let people decide on their own what they're going to do. You know, whether you float off to a bus in the sky and get reincarnated as a snail or what, I don't know. The only thing I really have a huge problem with, but I have zero answer to it, is what do you do with your kids? Do you teach your kids your religion, or do you let them be free thinkers? And do you teach them all religions so you can let them choose? So I know people who had issues from my kids' high school play, because in the play there was a gay couple. Not only was there a gay couple, they were female gay people, and that was horrible. I mean, that's got to be the worst thing in the whole world. So she didn't let her daughter participate in the play. And it's like, really? You don't want her to participate in a play because there are some gay people in there? I mean, that's crazy. But that's what they believe. Um,
that's their
you
choice.
know, I'm I'm Jewish. I don't practice, but that's what I was born, and there's not many of us left, so I should. But when I was living in Oklahoma, they were so happy because anytime there was a holiday or anytime someone was in Bible study and they got paged out to fix a problem, they'd call me because they know I'm not doing anything for Christian or for Christmas, even though my wife's Christian. But yeah, it's interesting. Why don't you just keep your views to yourself? You know, it doesn't hurt
right,
anybody. You know, so if my neighbor
Well,
goes to a Catholic church and my other neighbor goes to a Mormon church, and I sit here on Sunday and walk down to my favorite breakfast place, what does it matter? It doesn't hurt anybody.
right.
So yeah, like I said, the kids, that's that's where I get a lot of issues, and re-education camps and stuff like that. I'm going to take my gay kid to a camp and we're going to teach that kid how to be normal. But that's better than when I was a kid, though, because you couldn't be gay when I was a kid, or you'd be teased and beat up. So, yeah.
Right.
So back to Scientology. I know nothing about it, but some dude writes a book and you want to make that your most important thing in your entire life. Cool.
That's what I
Have
was gonna
fun.
say.
I don't care.
This
It
is where I disagree. Everyone always says just go about your own business and do what you want and live in a free country. But until you start hurting other people with your free time and your free decisions, if you start hurting other people or hurting me and my, you know, um, community, then we got beef. We got a
Oh,
problem.
I agree. Because when I say keep it to yourself, I mean, don't push it on anybody else. Leave it to yourself. And that includes going down. We used to have a dude who used to stand on the corner. This was ages ago. And he had a megaphone and he had posters of religion. And he would be megaphoning to the huge amount of traffic that went by about how everyone was horrible unless they believed what he believed. That's not okay. But if you want to
Oh,
sit there and have a jamboree in your house about everything that you love, cool, man, have fun. Because that's not affecting other people, in my personal opinion.
yeah. It's
That
like
sounds
me.
like
I was
First
baptized
Amendment,
Mormon,
free
so
speech. There's um a guarantee in this country of freedom of religion, freedom of religious expression, but there is no such thing in this country as a guarantee of freedom from religion.
Yeah.
If some dude wants to stand on a cold, rainy corner with posters and a megaphone,
Oh,
that sounds like a miserable way to spend an afternoon. But I mean,
I
I don't think
agree.
there's anything wrong with that necessarily.
I
Um,
agree. But I personally think, and I'm all for the No Kings rallies and all that stuff. It's cool. But I also know that while I have joined, when I didn't join, and it took me 18 times the amount of time I needed to go somewhere on the bus, that also kind of sucked. It's for a great cause with the assumption you believe in that, which, obviously I do. But, you know, yeah. And then, of course, you had the people who were walking down the street yelling at the supporters. And then you had the people who had the Confederate flags. And I saw this several times. And they come whipping around the corner, slamming on their gas, spinning their wheels, and having smoke come up. And they come 4, 5, 6 feet from where the protest is going on. So I understand freedom of expression and freedom of blah blah blah. But then that goes back again to the thing Kevin was saying. If it hurts people, then it's not okay. So, and the problem is, of course, we are all logical, reasonable, friendly people in this world. So there could never be anything wrong or hate towards any other person. So, yeah, that's when the whole argument falls apart because people are going to be people. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And if they want to step over you to get somewhere else, they're going to do that. And that's one of the main reasons we left the tri state area, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, whatever.
is
Because
it that bad? Was
my
the
quote,
tri
oh, it's
I didn't mean
horrible.
to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Was the tri-state area really that bad?
Yes,
Uh,
the people were horrible. I used to say the following: people would rather kick you down the stairs than help you get up after you fall down. There are tons of people who are nice, but I would say, from my personal view and from my wife's personal view, and we were both in corporate America until we started having kids, and the people on the street, I'd say 2 out of every 3 people were not nice. Even our friends, 2 out of 3 people were not nice. Um, yeah. So the food's good though. And I could see New York City from where I worked. I was right across the Hudson, which was very sad on 9/11 as I watched those things come down. But yeah, I'm off track again. Oh, corporate America, mean people, East Coast. Yeah, everyone's mean over there. Honestly,
Corporate
it's kind of
America
sad.
seems to have a higher concentration of the meanies than
Uh,
just like the out and about normal people, you know? It's like the best way to succeed in corporate America is to have like some of that meanness built in because
you,
nice people don't climb
you
corporate
don't.
ladders very
can I
easily.
ask you, since you've both been in corporate America, does it seem to the atmosphere of certain companies or corporations, does it incentivize a certain amount of maliciousness or, um, you know, like crabs in a bucket, like that, to get ahead? Or uh, is
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but yeah,
emotions
just
zero sum. Either you get it or somebody else gets it. And uh, you know, you have no reason to try to help the other guy out, get that promotion over you. It's entirely incentivizes selfishness, I think. Um, for those who are already like sociopathically inclined, I think particularly. But not, I mean, there's not, it's not to say that everybody in corporate America is an asshole. There's a lot of really nice people, but there
it
are,
just brings it out, you
per
think?
capita, there's a lot more of them in the corporate entities than there are in, like um the grocery store on
Yeah,
average.
I would agree with
Um, so um, I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
Never got the hang of that, like the corporate politics and everything. Um,
Yeah. I never, and again, I think I was 20, 22, 21, 22, something like that. And that's been my whole career. And I'm a pretty mellow person. I don't know if you guys realize
it.
that. And I'd rather just sit in the corner and do my work than deal with other people. But it's interesting because I always have 2 things, but then I have 500. Like I said, I try to not really make noise because when you're trying to make yourself and better yourself in quotes at work, yeah, you have to be an asshole, you know? I know many high school principals and they're assholes because they have to be. But I know a guy who I worked with who is now that goes manager, director, and then vice president. I know a guy that I worked with maybe about 10 years ago, and he was just a regular employee. And he used to be, I remember the stories he used to tell. And one of the worst one was, he's like, yeah, I got a dog. And when that dog shits in the house, I take that dog and I shove its face right in the shit, because how else is he going to learn? And I'm like, cool, man. That's really nice. And now he was a manager. Now he's a director. I mean, there are some good people out there, but I'd say, and again, I'm in Washington where there are nice people, but yeah, I'd say to add, just like the mean people in on the East Coast, there's a lot of people. The people who are mean rise to the top. The people who want to do work stay at the bottom. Or the
Yeah,
people like me,
the power games, the social backstabbing and all of that, it's really extremely well suited to the people who have kind of unhealthy personalities underneath, a lack of empathy, um, a willingness to do what, like Machiavellianism, right? The ends justify the means. Um, yeah. So,
Oh,
but
how would
again, that's not to say all corporate directors are that way, but it does tend to float up to the top a lot more easily. But sorry.
I mean, so no, it seems like there's a certain degree of like meanness that's being rewarded. And how do you think that's affecting this generation's kids? I mean, you were uh mentioning you know, letting our kids decide.
yeah,
Uh
religion, whatnot.
yes, I
Yeah.
mean,
Um,
is it so much important to let them decide about that? Because they could just go about. I mean, but is it? I'm more concerned, that the people who are, running the middle class are coming off like assholes. The higher, if we just reward meanness on every facet, it just, you know, that seems to be the problem. We seem to
But
be a
those
we
high
seem to
power,
be a mean country, is my point.
yeah, those high power um narcissists don't tend to have families to the same proportion as middle America does. And those that do have a family don't have as many children per marriage as middle America does. And even middle America is below
Yeah.
replacement birth rate level. So
Oof. Yeah.
um, I don't know how that plays into your question, but
I don't
there,
know. It's just, I think Chip probably made the point actually about the earlier. I was just trying to, about
All
country.
good.
You um personally, I'm sick of New York being the diamond of America. Oh, New York, yeah. There's other cities in the country.
Philly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were going to say something, Pookie, before. I saw you open your mouth,
Oh,
or
I
you
was
forgot.
earlier. I was gonna say I don't know how it stuck to my mind. Earlier, I was gonna say that I do like the idea of allowing children to choose what they'd like to pick when it comes to things like with religion and stuff like that. Um, because stuff like that is might hold you for the rest of your life. Some people might like it, some people might not. But if you force a religion on someone, it's kind of not my style. But hey, it's they're doing it every day. But I'm just saying, me personally, um, I was baptized Mormon, and for some reason, I just not that I like being baptized, but I like learning about religion. So I ended up getting what's it called, baptized, because I was studying it and I met so many people that went to that church, and they were just like, "Hey, when are you gonna get baptized?" And I was like, "I didn't plan on it, but I've been here 18 months. I guess it's time." And yeah, next I'm gonna go Islam. Then I'm gonna try Buddhism.
Whoa,
Um,
whoa. Don't,
yeah,
Buddhism's pretty cool.
don't go to Islam.
Maybe you should
yeah.
look into the Eastern religions a little more. They're pretty interesting.
I wanted to actually look into ancient Greek. Um, yeah, there's a lot of backstory to learning about that. Um, yeah. How do you guys feel about these forced? Seen on the news, they were just talking about uh, there's a football field of trees being removed an hour or something like that. Something to do with the environment. They were like they're taking down trees in certain areas.
Hmm.
There's less forest than there used to be. I forgot what area it was. How do you guys feel about that? With places getting deforested for putting locations or cities there, what they were doing basically. Um,
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that one. When when
you
I
know what I'm
was
talking about,
down,
right?
yeah, oh yeah, I gotcha. I
Okay.
was
Okay.
I had to get the cat was coming and yelling at me. She needed to come in the room or she would have killed me tonight. Um, yeah, deforestation is horrible because we're killing the world. Now, I'm going to assume that before we completely murder the world, that we're going to come up with some kind of tech to fix it. We have to. We're too smart. But on the other side of deforestation is back down in your neck of the woods. I remember a story. I used to listen to NPR when I lived in California, and I remember a story where they wanted to cut down a tree to build, I believe, I don't remember what university it was, but it was one of the higher California universities. I mean, was it Berkeley? I don't remember. Good sports team. And they wanted to cut down the tree, and there was like an old lady, and I had my first kiss under this tree, and there's big protests and all that stuff. And I get it. I understand. But the thing is, if they're going to build a new football stadium that's going to be in I know nothing about college football, top 20 nationally, that's going to do more for the city than knocking down a tree or than keeping a tree alive, because that stadium's not only going to have young athletes who who want to succeed in life play on a field. It's also going to bring in revenue because there'll be more seats. More seats mean that they're going to have more people who are working there. More people who are working there means the economy is going to get better and there'll be more people who could do jobs than not do jobs.
That's what
So
they were saying.
so full, cool. So full circle, yeah, we're cutting down rainforests. We're cutting down, you know, just land. I was on the edge of the county I'm in, and to the east of me is forest and stuff. And now since my area is full, they keep going east and they're just cutting down more and more and more and more. And now we have bear coming out, and we have what kind of cat is it? I can't remember which one. And they're coming out and killing all the animals in the neighborhood, all the pets, because they're getting pushed out of their areas. So, I mean, there should be designated areas that are just for trees and forests, which actually is pretty cool because out here they actually have things called green spaces and they won't allow you to build on them. And they're just huge trails, huge fields, huge, around the lakes and stuff like that. And I thought that was actually pretty cool that they did that. Now the cat's leaving the room. Come on, cat. Uh, so yeah, it goes on both sides. People need a place to live, but the world needs a place to live. But cutting down trees to make a lot of money for a lot of people, or a lot of money for a few people, and then a lot of money for or a little money for everybody else out there. Yeah, I guess it's a case by case deal. So I have to close the door because the cat left. Then it's going to want me to open the door again, and then it's going to want me to close the door again. Cats,
If there's an environmental argument to make um, in favor of logging and deforestation to a controlled, supervised degree. Not what's going on in the Amazon necessarily, but um, there has been um, an increase in a lot of wildfires associated with environmental, excuse me, with a history of fire suppression and environmental controls, which lead to a buildup of a lot of fuel sources um, that normally would not have been there. It's a lot like issuing hunters permits to hunt deer and then the herd, because if you don't, then the deer population will get out of control and they will
literally
mess
what I
up
was
with
going to
all
say.
kinds of others, they cause all kinds of other problems. Downstream, you start getting more wildlife incursions into um, more urbanized areas because there's less food for them out in their natural habitat. So, yeah, it's been argued that a lot of the recent wildfires may have been prevented had there not been such strict controls on logging over in California, preventing the thinning of the forests over there, leading to an abundance of fuel, which normally would either go through burn and regrowth cycles or could be controlled by supervised thinning. So, um,
Yeah, that was
If it,
fast. Oh, go on,
that was
Kevin.
that was bullshit by both of you. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
okay,
Um,
well,
First of all, the tree thing and the football stadium. First of all, I hate college football. It does not add anything to the economy. What it does is because if you look this up, uh, college football teams are not actually part of the college. They don't contribute to them. Um, so there's no point in building more colleges. They draw resources from other things like sciences and arts and education. So I would not knock down a single tree or
I don't
uh, uh,
believe
uh,
that.
look it up.
Mm,
Um,
I
I
think
don't have it here because,
the person
and
making the affirmative is the one responsible for providing the backup.
well, I didn't see the future. I didn't know we would be discussing this particular topic. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I make you
and
go down paths.
and wildfires don't happen in California because
Oh,
Come
it
again?
just no, no,
what?
no. Let me finish the sentence. They don't happen because just out of nowhere.
No,
They happen regularly to clear out land when it gets too dense, yes. But that's
Um,
a seasonal thing every so often. What but it's happening now because too many idiots are moving into dense arid areas. What set off the fire last year?
An
No,
idiot who threw a cigarette.
yeah. What
no, it
happens
was
is
actually
little
uh,
chars because it gets hot. Some of those stuff gets hot and trees and stuff. Someone it could be a little ash from something fly into whatever county and hit a tree, and we get a lot of dry areas in California. So then dry areas in that fire and stuff like that isn't good for fire. It took over a whole county. I don't know if you heard last year, but
yeah,
yeah,
it
it
was it was
destroyed a
awful.
little piece of a city that I think that was a city, maybe a county. I don't remember, but yeah, from the news, I seen it destroyed a lot, and it was
Yeah,
all based on one area got too hot, and they should have did something to it, and then it started a fire
yeah.
and got
But
bad.
what I think what actually started it was a spark from a hub or something. One of the um,
which
yeah,
wildfire are you talking about? Because there were
I don't know.
Canadian fires that
There-
caused massive problems over a lot of New York. There were Californian
it
fires.
was a California fire.
Both of them were under different supervision. So the California fire,
Yeah, this was a California fire.
okay.
But the truth is about that is there in naturally every so often, every decade, there would be a massive fire or spot fires to clear out, you know, rubble and stuff. But now they're happening every year, huge fires because people are moving into these areas and draining the resources, draining water for the trees, and making it more dry and arid. So it's just dangerous now.
They're in droughts already. It's not people moving into any areas that are causing anything to dry out.
I was going to say something like that. There's wildfires happening in cities where there's just populated people and been there for generations, and yeah, the fires because of people moving into areas isn't a thing in California. It's just we got fire and hot areas with a lot of grass that doesn't. They say that they have there's some people they get to make controlled fires. They say sometimes they get out of control, sometimes they don't. But
And why has the temperature
Population
gone up?
encroachment is not the convenient boogeyman that a lot of people would like it to be.
What's that?
Population
Sorry.
encroachment is not the convenient boogeyman a lot of people would like it to be.
um,
I think it is.
yeah,
But
Right. Yeah. Well, case in point,
well, there's too many people, and but what was
there's
I going
too
to
many
say?
people.
It is my opinion that there are too many people on this earth,
Okay, so
and
why
that's
is population growth such a concern? Why is the baby why are people
what did you say,
um
Chip, about people the bears coming down now because we're building?
Yeah, 18 years ago when I moved into this house, the city I live in, I'd say was maybe 20, 18, 20,000, and now we're 32, 34,000. And with the exception of the green spaces that they have, which are government protected, Washington State, you can't build here. I would say almost every piece of available land has been taken up by house, business, whatever. If you go, when I came here 18 years ago, the town, literally one town over to the east, was barely populated. It was people who'd been here for the last 30, 40, 50 years. But then they decided it would be a good idea to open up an enormous community. And that community has thousands of houses in there. And they actually opened 10. They called it 10 Trails. But so they went there and they ripped down what literally had to be 95% of the trees and the forests out there to
And that's
build that.
called it's called encroachment, right? And that's they replaced all the trees with carbon emitting houses and people.
Yep.
Mark?
So then when you do all of that, where are all the animals going to go? A lot of them are going to keep going east because east is more unpopulated. But animals don't know anything. They're going to go where they have food. So if they smell food in a garbage can, they're going to go down the street, knock over all the garbage cans. Yeah, they just come out of the woodwork because their normal areas are now gone. So, now you don't have the rats that the cats eat, and you don't have the cats that the hawks eat. So it just, you keep running through all that cycle, and all you do is keep pushing things out of the cities into the country. And as you go into the country, those country becomes a city. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. The other thing I was going to say, which is fascinating, because I was going to mention this. Now, all of I know people think I must lie, people at work and everything. I know all my stories. I'm like the bard of the places I go to, and not a single story is false or fake or untrue. So right before you said about hunters with the hunter license, I was going to say back in third or fourth grade, it was the year the Challenger exploded. There was our teacher asked class, and he was like, so no one likes hunting, so what do you think's going to happen if we stop hunting deer? And everyone in the class except for me raised their hand and said, we're going to have so many more deer. And I'm like, no, you're not. You have resource problems. Deer are just going to die because there's just not enough food to go around, and they're not going to just migrate somewhere that they don't know about. They're just going to start dropping like flies. And that's the same concept because we take away their land. I In New Jersey, we used to have deer in our backyard. And when I smoked cigarettes, I used to sit on the back porch and I used to throw little carrots at the deer to see how close I can get them to come to the house. And that was pretty cool. And there were deer everywhere. Out here, there's like no deer. I'm sure they're here, but because before I moved in here, they had already encroached in this entire area. I think I've seen deer maybe about a dozen times in 18 years. And that's sad. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. So,
Let's see, zero deer where I grew up at, zero deer where I live now. A deer in California, you got to go to really forested areas. So you'd have to go find those. And they're all really surrounding all the cities. There's, well, I don't know of any forests that go through cities, but um, yeah, when the whole California caught on fire, it was insane. It was red outside everywhere, and you just knew that somewhere was on fire every direction. And that's how bad the fire was at one point in time. Everywhere was red. I remember going to my dentist appointment, and I was standing outside, and I was just enjoying it, but it wasn't a good thing. It just was nice that everything was red. Yeah,
the sad
very.
part, sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
on. I was going to say the sad part about the whole thing is before we started, and I'm going to draw conclusions on stuff that I assume is true based on the garbage that I've seen, that I've watched. The Earth was a self-sustaining planet before we started messing it up. You know, wildfires would occur because they needed the wildfires to work the economy, or the Earth. You know, they needed the water, and it would balance itself out so that it was in harmony with everything here. Now it's trying to figure out what to do because we messed up the whole environment. Go big oil. I loved working for them. Uh, yeah, it's so the nature should be symbiotic with everything, but instead now it's a planet filled with carbon emissions and the what was that, the ozone layer that's being taken away and all that other stuff, and Elon's satellites out there poking holes and taking away sunlight and all that stuff. So yeah, it's sad because we used to be a self-sustaining planet and now we're not. So
I mean, so coming back to the trees, knocking down the tree. No, no, I'm going to circle around. I
oh,
think
it's all good.
I
Always do.
completely, I agree with you on that statement. So, how do we make technology and our civilization symbiotic with the earth? Because we're going to keep using, we're not going to stop doing what we do. But like we talked about earlier, assholes run the earth. So how are those assholes going to make a profit, stay on top, and make technology that is works with the earth and doesn't hurt it?
The problem, see, the thing that I look at, and I love tech, and I love Star Trek and all that stuff. Now, there's a horrible, 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 horrible man on this planet who actually, take a step back and don't think of him as making cyber trucks and doing all the crap he does. Take the man away, take the fact that he's a horrible boss because apparently he makes people work 25 hours a day. The stuff he does is fascinating. It really is. He took over the space program because we couldn't keep up with it.
It
Not
was
only
given
did,
to him. Sorry.
if he wasn't him, would it have been given it to him? But if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. But it's so I'm not talking about the man. I don't care about him. He's
All
a
right. Okay.
douche.
I'm sorry.
But oh no, no, it's all good. He's a horrible person. I'm talking about the tech he's making. It's absolutely crazy. He is, despite the fact that there is an argument for making the batteries that go into uh, electronic vehicles, are the process to make them is worse on the environment than the actual electric vehicles and the not gas that they're using. Now, I know I heard that 10, 12, 8 years ago. And I can't believe that's actually true. But I think stuff that he's doing, not because he's him, but just because it helps the country and the world. I mean, people are getting internet because of satellites they're flying up there. Now, of course, are they good or are they bad? I don't know. 20, 30, 40 years ago, when he's dead and I'm dead, I know my kids are going to be talking about the time when he was shooting satellites into space. But I think overall, he's doing a ton more for the future than hurting the future is. I don't remember where that came from, though. There was a point in the beginning. So, but technology, yeah, we're going to get smart enough to get to the point where we can fix the problems in the world probably faster than we're going to cause them, because if you look at the last 100 years, And if you're scary enough to look at the last 500 years and see the advancements we've made, it's pretty cool stuff. I can't believe the exponential growth that we have isn't going to be able to fix everything. I don't remember what her name was, but she was that young Nobel Peace Prize winner. Um, it's gone though. It's not my brain. People like that are going to change the world. People in my kids' generation are going to change the world because they don't see the crap that went on. I think it was was it J.P. Morgan was the one of the first humongous financial families, and yeah, their
JP Morgan and
family,
Chase.
yeah, and their family, they own everything. The rich people own everything, and we get the scraps. But I
Well,
have
regard
to believe as we go further on, when I don't know how to say, I don't want to say when we're all dead, because I don't want to put that, but when my kids are in their 30s and 40s and 50s, there's going to be so much amazing technology. If you look at the 1970s and you fast forward to 2026, in those 50 years, IBM servers used to take up my whole house. Now, in this laptop I have sitting here, I have more power than back then. But Pookie's got his hand up, and I'm just mumbling.
Um, no, I was just gonna say that I look on I have Twitter, so all I have is Twitter and Reddit. But I was looking on Twitter when you started talking about Elon. I read something that said they're going to talk about him in books at school for kids in about 20 years. And I was thinking that might be right.
It's
All
gonna.
that he has done might not be
Books
good
in
for
20
certain.
years?
They're going to be talking about him just like we had this great actor president who was so nice. He was the nicest guy in the world. He was great. He did things for the country, even though he's a Republican. And then you find out that he was one of the biggest assholes in the world. Yeah, Elon. And then of course, 20 years from now, you're not going to hear about Ronald Reagan anymore because people aren't going to remember him. I'm sure if I ask my kids who he was, they won't know who he was. So,
I trash him on the show every week, so
oh,
don't worry.
I don't like the guy. I love his tech. Like I said, I'm a tech
But
person. I
I
love good
think
tech.
No, I mean Ronald
I
Reagan.
think
I
that
trash Ronald
Oh,
Reagan.
Reagan?
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that it is absolutely criminal that civics is not a required course in,
Oh
the
yeah.
education of every citizen in this country.
Yeah.
I
So to
completely
that
agree.
end, I think it's going to be a shame if children 20 years from now genuinely don't know the name Ronald Reagan, politics aside.
Well,
They
then
don't
He's
talk
he's an
about him as
important
much.
he's an important
politics
man to
aside, he was a
understand.
politician. He teaches
No, I
politics.
mean arguing the politics of the man aside. He was an extremely important politician, and understanding him, knowing who he was and understanding him is critical to understanding how the world got to where we are today. Uh,
They don't do. They don't talk about politics in school anymore. They don't talk about the past presidents and stuff. Yeah, they took that out of a few schools. I think it was
yeah,
mainly for what's going on these days. They don't really talk about it anymore.
it's
I
stupid.
talk to my kids all the time about who's this president, who's this president. They didn't even for a long time they didn't know that it was a president that was actually on the bill on the money. And I was like, yeah, that guy's a president. And I was like, asking them like, what are you guys learning? Um, they don't talk about presidents and stuff. That's not something in the books these days.
No,
Uh,
Not
nor the
very in depth, at least.
Constitution. I mean, they should have to know the Constitution before being able to vote.
I
They
don't know
should,
the
My
Constitution.
they
my
should,
my
well,
frustration with teaching the
no,
Constitution is it's not even enforced. And nobody does anything. Like,
It depends on the majority, but yeah.
Well, and then there's the interpretations, right? Which
oh,
depends
okay.
again on another different majority. So, but whatever,
It's always the
it's
interpretation.
still a document. There's still guardrails there, and people should know it, I think. I don't know.
I was never
Yeah,
taught it in school. Um,
I was never taught it in school either, except for a
I,
basic overview.
a little
right.
bit.
I still don't know it.
Yeah, I was taught it in school, but I was homeschooled, so you know, I had a very
Okay.
atypical experience in many ways. Maybe that's why I feel like I had to learn it, so all the other kids should have had to also.
And that should be true.
But
But
it's not.
still, I think it's important. I'm glad that it was forced on me then. I don't think I would be paying nearly as much attention to the world right now had it not been for that class. So, um, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
when I went to college, I had no idea what to do. And despite the fact that my mother said that I should do computer stuff, and I said no, I graduated with a sociology and anthropology degree. And I have to admit that that degree helped me more in my life than anything else because it taught me how to read, it taught me how to write, it taught me how to express myself verbally. So it blows my mind that kids these days don't have a better education. And all I have is where I live, but all three of my kids went through elementary, middle, and high school in the town I'm in. And it fascinates me the stuff that they didn't learn and they don't know. But it interests me how it's really important that they go to the salmon hatchery every year to watch the salmon get bred and released into the rivers in Washington state. So I don't know. But then again, we were letting balloons go into the air so that seals and stuff could die after they eat them when I was in school. So
Wow.
so much good stuff. Yeah, they used to buy balloons and you put a message on it, and then hundreds of kids in elementary school would let them go in the air. And then if somebody found your card, they return it back to the school again. And all that did was have all introduce all this plastic into the ocean, and then animals would eat it and they die. And I'm like, yeah, and that's why we can keep going full circle. Back in 80 something, it was cool. It was amazing to let plastic go float around in the sky so it could kill animals. 50 years later, they don't do that. But microplastics are in all the plastic things that you eat and drink. And those microplastics are going to end up killing you. Um, I don't know. You know, this is just stuff I read and stuff that's interesting. And then, you know, 50 more years from now, we'll be using something completely different, and 30, 25 years ago, I actually found out that plastic was a byproduct of making gas. And I thought that was pretty interesting too, because they made the polypropylene plant at the place I worked at. And, I had this guy who was really interesting. He's like, oh, yeah. And he holds up a little package of little plastic beads. He's like, that's what we're making. I'm like, cool. But since then, yeah, now it's microplastics. Now it's BPA. It's all that stuff. So,
You know what else is probably the largest use of oil in microplastics? Clothes, textiles.
oh yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Um, well, the thing with me is I learned a lot in school, but I don't remember it. until someone else talks about it. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, now I remember this. And that's how a lot of stuff is. I remember stuff that I learned after school, and most of it is on TV. I looked into it on TV or in a book or on the computer. So, yeah, if you go back to stuff 10 years ago that I learned, I probably don't remember. But these days, I can remember things like that, things that I've seen in documentaries and movies. And every time I see something in a movie, I'm like, is this true? Let me go watch a documentary and see if this is true about this thing or person or whatever the case. Um, and then I forgot what I was talking about. So, someone else's turn.
Evan said microplastics and the clothing are the number one users of microplastics. And I do brain tests on myself all day to see if I can remember stuff because I don't remember stuff at all. So I try to keep it up here. Anyway, that's where we were.
Saw a pie chart of what was like it was textiles. Um, it was a badly written chart. So um, rubber, uh, yeah, and bottles was plastic. So, yeah,
Tires
it did.
on cars,
Yeah,
and everyone's got 8 cars.
we're gonna need some major urban changes. Just we're gonna need. It's not going to be just getting rid of oil. We're going to have to rethink the entire country to, you know, speak of the things, to save the planet, to stop killing it. You know.
That's one of the reasons why instead of when I was a kid and I used to throw all the garbage in the garbage can, that I actually throw things in the recycling bin, even though I know that a ton of that stuff ends up in the landfill anyway. But yeah, that's I believe the children are our future. I'm not singing it though.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping that. I
It's
mean,
not
I even see it when I was a kid. Like I was saying, when I was a kid, you got in trouble if you called somebody. I mean, it was you're gay. Ugh, I can't believe you're such a gay person. Ugh. But we're talking 40 years ago. Now, I mean, it doesn't matter, I can have
Right,
that on my arm and no one cares one bit. Who cares about that? And if I'm going to get
right,
beat up for doing that, cool, man. I'm 6'1". I hung out in Newark a lot. Try it. It's all good. Um,
right.
but yeah,
you're
I
just a
just that's why I hope that the future. Do you think 20 years from now that the children would vote Donald Trump into office? It scares me in my core to think it's possible, but I so highly doubt it. Just watching my kids grow up, they're a completely different generation. But I interrupt you, Kevin. I'm sorry.
I would say maybe. You never know because of how information is distributed and interpreted, and yeah, and how the economy is what state you're being a nationalist, populist like that. Yeah, people like that stuff in bad times, and he appeals to that. That's what Hitler was, you know. Uh,
Oh yeah, I
he
went.
promised them something, and uh, not going to go further on than that. But yeah, that's basically what Trump did. And what concerns me is the distribution of wealth here, because you keep talking about Elon Musk, and congrats to his intelligence, but is he really helping anyone?
Oh no, he's not. He's
I mean,
helping. Yes, I'm sorry. He is helping people, 100%. I am a true believer that while there are so few people who own, what is it, 5% own 90% of the money, I do believe that they do help people, because we're in a
Yeah,
system right now that is so messed up that being able to make renewable energy, being able to do all of that stuff, cool. But who it actually helps is the people who can't find jobs, the people who don't make money, the people who are out on the streets. I go through Seattle, not anymore since I got the happy disabled bus, but I go through Seattle and I love walking around, and I go early just so I can walk around. And there'd be 20, 30 people sitting up against a building smoking crack. There's homeless tents all over the place. And if you could bring jobs to people, then maybe instead of 5% of the people owning 95% of the wealth, maybe it can be at some point we can get like 6% of the wealth. And then hopefully seven and eight. We'll never,
I
until
will
we're at
I will
Star
not
Trek.
beg I will not beg for scraps. Sorry. If
It
that's
all
not the
depends, you know. I think I'm pretty realistic in the world, but I also know that to own this house and to have my kids and to keep my family alive, I've got to get those scraps.
yeah,
Otherwise, I'm going to
you've
be on
done
the
well.
street.
Your generation has done well. That's
Yeah.
why Gen Z and millennials are so pissed off. They're so pissed off, they will vote for Donald Trump. They won't see the fallacies and the extremeness behind him. They're so mad that they won't
Um,
see progressive policies. I'm sorry, Pookie. It's just
um,
it,
no, I was just going to say there was a comment here while you were before you jumped to another topic. I was just going to say, Angel said we didn't vote him in. He lost the popular vote, but the electoral college voted Trump in. Before you change
He,
topics, somebody
no,
said that.
oh yeah.
not not in the last election. He won both.
The thing that he did, and I don't want to say it's him, because it's not him. He doesn't do anything. He didn't do a single thing. The people who he hired were brilliant, because instead of going to the cities, they went to the disenfranchised country. Then they promised all of this stuff to the disenfranchised that they never actually did. And that's what blows my mind, because then he wins again. And they complain because Biden was too old. But what's Trump, 82 now? 83, 81? I don't remember
Hmm.
how old he is. And it's absolutely crazy.
And
But
he says things that are even more retarded than Joe Biden.
yeah. But then once again, if we want to go completely full circle, yeah, you know, the red states, my wife talks about this a lot. The red states are having babies and babies and babies and babies and babies because they want to own the world. And the blue states don't have that growth. But he did a brilliant thing by going out there and doing what he did. Was it good or bad? I'm going 100% bad. Even though I used to love going to his casinos, they were beautiful. Um, yeah, he's all
Really.
pure evil.
Yeah. I've been to Atlantic City, but I did not like it, and it seemed a little drab. But it's good to hear that there was a Atlantic City had a Bronze Age. I'm going to call it, not Golden Age.
Oh, it was great. I loved going there. We used to go to the Showboat because they had $5 roulette tables, and we were poor in college, so we used to go there and we used to play the $5 roulette tables that were at the Showboat. That was right next to the Trump Taj Mahal, And that place was it has to be one of the most gorgeous places I've ever seen, even though it had his name on it. So, you know, now I'm really off topic.
Uh, yeah, we were talking to the audience. The audience asked about political things, so
Oh,
we
it's
went
all
into
good.
that. Uh,
I'll talk about anything. I don't know if that's apparent.
yeah,
I
it's not
mean,
a problem.
so how would we ever flip the scales of guys like Elon owning 2.5% of all the money in the country and being the first trillionaire?
My
Because
hope is that as myself and all the other old white men die, that the younger generations will grow up realizing that uh, it's not fair. I was watching a tech thing. I was listening to a CIO, and he was talking about his last company. He was at a new company. I watch some of these things. He's at his new company. At his last company, there were almost no females and there were zero minorities in any director or above position at his last company. And he said, since he was the CIO, that when he left, it was about 60-40, where 60% were white men and 40% were now women and minorities. And that's the kind of people we need running this country. We don't need Elon running this country, but he's probably in his 40s, I would say, guesstimate, just from looking at people on a screen. What are the 15-year-olds and the 20-year-olds thinking? I know what they're thinking in a very small scope because I have three kids who are newly adults. And I believe that they're going to actually be able to rule the country. I know that we'll always have the rulers who are actually in charge until Picard is flying that spaceship. But more and more and more people are going to be pissed, and they're not going to deal with it. Um, I have a friend here. He won't buy from Amazon. He won't buy anything that's associated with Musk. He won't buy anything associated with Jeff Bezos, which I guess is Amazon. And
yeah,
all of his friends do the same. And then he'll tell me things like, you know, that restaurant's not trans friendly because me and my friend went there and they knew we were trans and they kicked us out. I won't go there anymore. And the food's
no,
actually good. And you all know I like food, but I'm not going to go there anymore. If they are anti LGBTQ, I'm not going to go there. No way. Um, that's what I think
I
is.
don't go that far because I don't know what that means because I read stuff on Reddit all the time and they say, oh, this place made a mean comment about gay people. Well, like, that's I don't know. Do they have posters outside? I'm sorry, it's just not enough information. I don't go by
I like
rumors.
Yeah, was it a person being subjectively offended is not necessarily the same thing as uh, a, a entity or whatever actually having any sort of institutional issues necessarily. So I'm with you, Kevin. I'm cautious about secondhand stories like that and mindful of the source. If it's not someone I know personally
It's
and
But
don't
but the thing
trust,
is,
then
it's somebody I know. It's the guy who used to drive me to and from work. I've known him for years. I know his politics. I know his mind. I
and
believe what he says.
I believe you because
Mhm.
I know that the business owners in Philadelphia are very salty. They are, yeah.
Yeah.
but a lot of but we are a very progressive city, so and that included. But I don't. Yeah, I don't like purchasing from Amazon either, and I don't want to give that other freak any more money. Uh, I is it going to take everyone being so poor to, actually, you know,
It's gonna take everybody who's not rich. And by rich, I mean the people who make 1 million, 2 million a year. I know technically they're not rich, depending on who you are, but it's
yeah,
going to take everybody below there to stop giving them money, to stop using their products. But that's almost impossible to do because I'm not going to grow vegetables out back and not give money to Kroger, who is then going to give money to whoever's above the Kroger people, the shareholders, whatever it is.
these
So,
these yeah, monopolies. Everything's yeah. We had this a century ago. Everything was owned by Rockefeller.
yeah,
And yeah, and Standard Oil. They owned papers, they owned the media, they owned everything, but it was broken
Exxon in
apart.
the
It,
olden days.
we did overcome that, but it was done by it was done legislatively. Now, now this is an official oligarchy.
Yep.
They just buy every politician, and that's why I don't think diversity or anything is going to, save this situation because everyone is vulnerable to money and power, and they just I've seen no forward progress in this century.
I have, but it's in the people my kids' generation, not the people in my generation. And I mean, my generation, I'm 52. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not, I have my relatives who are in their 80s and still kicking, which makes me happy. Uh,
That's yeah,
but
Longevity.
I talk to them like I have an 87-year-old stepmom, even though there are no steps in this family. Uh, and she is 100% cool about everything. She doesn't
right.
care about LGBTQ people. She doesn't care about Christian, Jewish, any of that stuff. But the stuff that comes out of her mouth is from 80 years ago and hearing all that stuff. Like you were
Yeah,
saying before, that's so retarded. Now, if you say that out in the world, people are going to be like, how horrible are you? But it was
Right.
standard talk 30, 40 years ago.
yeah,
So my hope is that and I think it's true, all of the bad behavior that people do, like Trump, they're going to realize that they're idiots, not them, but the leaders of the world. And there will be change. I guarantee it. Will we see it? Will I see it? I hope so. I hope I have another 30, 35 years. But
oh,
my
that,
kids, when they're older and they're my age, it's going to be my opinion. Nothing I've read, nothing I've saw, just from what I've read and saw that isn't real, blah, blah, blah. We're going to become a completely homogeneous world, whether that's my kids' generation or the kids after that or whatever. We're going to be completely blended. And my hope is that progression of the 95% will kill off the 5%. So maybe there's 1%, 99% splitting the wealth. So, but again, going back to I'm the old white person, we're old white people. We make all the decisions in the world. Not me personally. I have no decisions to make, but they're getting phased out, you know, without, you know, if you had asked 25, 30, 35, 40 years ago, do you think that there would be a female vice president of the United States and
Never.
a female
Really?
who actually won the popular vote and should be in the White House? I guarantee, and I lived in New Jersey. We were pretty progressive there. Um, I know that at least 80, 85% of the kids who I grew up with would say no, would never happen. And I know in the 50s it would be 100%, you know, because
I'm
not
more
only could you
surprised.
not,
I'm surprised that you're surprised at that, because surprised that a woman would ever be president. Like,
I'm not surprised about that. But you know what? Not really thinking about it either is
okay,
not
from
a good
from the
excuse.
descending order, who
Yeah.
is going to be who would America least vote? Okay, that's no, that's too divisive. I don't want to go there. Um,
Yeah, I got you.
I was going
Well,
to give
now I
you a list
really
of
want to know
people.
what the
Oh,
question is,
I
even
know
if we're not
exactly where you
gonna.
were going, man. You know
Yeah.
what?
Uh, a, a,
Uh,
a list of
Oprah would be
demographics.
the least person to get
But
elected, not her, but
but no, no,
the
no. I
person.
wasn't going to say people. I was going, but
Oh, you were. I was category of nationality, race,
yeah.
skin
But
tone, skin
actually, I
color.
did hear that people would not vote for an atheist. It was like on the bottom. They would vote for a Muslim before an atheist president.
That doesn't surprise me at all because we're a Christian country, and if we some religion is better than no religion, and you probably pound for pound can convert Muslim people to Christianity, then you can convert atheists to Christianity. And since Christianity, in times of all of history, uh, you know, you look at the Tudors and all that garbage that was on TV that was based on real life, you know. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. And I lost my train of thought of where I was going. So oh, we were talking about who would be least likely to become president.
This was a
Yeah,
poll I heard somewhere. Don't worry
I
about it. What you got, Mark?
completely agree. That's fascinating because I never really thought about that. Uh, you know, you don't think about things until you think about things. You know, I was always conscious of people being disabled. I was always knew they were there. And, you know, I grew up in a time where you were more conscious of things. And I had to teach my son that not because it's right, not because it's proper, but because it's what you do, you should open up the door for old people or women. Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what it is. You show respect to women and old people. I get that. It's cool. But that's actually leaving out an entire section of the population. Why can't tall white men also have the door open for them? Like it's just
Yes.
everything's
Yes, they do
fascinating.
open the door
But
for me.
I
Everyone
do
does.
believe, I do believe though, because of how it is, yeah, men should open up doors for women and everybody should open up doors for their elders. That's not right. And that's the stuff that I'm talking about. My
I
kids
do.
would say that's not right. Even though I'm telling them it is, they're going to
Ah,
realize that's not right. And then they're going to be like, well, we should hold doors open for everybody. And that's when the rich old white people are going to start getting screwed. But going again, I didn't notice disabled people really. Not really. I knew they were there. I knew they existed. I knew people got seizures from flashing lights, you know? That's how educated I was on this. I know nobody who has epilepsy, period. And now I'm like, man, how messed up is the world? I mean, I know that disabled people don't get a fair shake in life. I know that they get crapped on and they're looked on as garbage. But I never really thought about it, actually thought about it in my life. And I like to think that I'm pretty open-minded and I have a good grasp on the world. I didn't even think about that. But I have to believe, not necessarily my kids, because they will, but the kids their age have to have the empathy to know what's right and wrong, unless you live in Oklahoma. And they're going to take over from the people who are currently in charge. Whether I see it, I hope, and I think I will, but my kids will. So, but yeah, it's crazy how, disabled, who cares? We and again, I got epilepsy at the age of 50. And yeah, it took me 45 years of consciousness to realize that, yeah, there's a lot of fucked up stuff here that people don't really see in the world. And that's the problem. So, yeah, I don't remember where I started, but that's where I ended.
Go ahead, Mark. You got something?
Oh, that was way back a while ago. Um, we've moved on.
And
All
tell
right.
me to shut up whenever you want me to, because I just keep going
You
and keep
can talk
going.
over people. It's fine. Yeah.
I apologize. I'm
Don't apologize. You have great input, and
Yeah.
interesting
nah,
input.
but I have to be more conscious of stuff. And the problem is that when I'm with people most of the time, and most of the time it's at work, no one talks. So I fill up the space with talking because nobody says anything. So now it's a habit to just sit here and blab about stuff. So I apologize when I'm talking over people because most people I've got into the habit of nobody talking. So I will work on that.
Any opinions on today being National Pie Day?
Um,
Three one four
that's
one
interesting.
five.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
My
I
mother made a
love
pie
pie.
last night,
Oh, that's good.
blueberry.
Well, technically, I guess we could say it'll be we got it. Well, there will be several pie moments throughout the day as well, where
All right. Yeah.
3:14 at what, 1? Okay, so we just passed it in Eastern Standard Time. 3:14. Wait, no, 1:05. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
five.
it's three one four
Wait,
one
hang on.
five or something.
159265358. Yeah, so I don't know. You can't round that up there. So I guess it doesn't work too well, does it? 3:14. You need military time unless you go 1 a.m. for the 159, 1:59 a.m. But I mean, again, we've already passed it. Yeah.
So there's no one complete second in time.
I don't think so. I
No
mean,
one.
in
No one spot. Like
well,
you
no,
know
No,
how.
because the 159, that 9 digit falls at the tens number, 10 minutes number. So that nine would mean an hour and a half. So then that would divide up to 16:30, 5, 9, 16:32. So 4:32. If you split out the 9 in pi, the 3.14151414159. Yeah, the fifth decimal. If you split that out, but that feels like cheating because that's not pi anymore if you're going 3.14 or 3.15. Wait, no. Or 3.14163. That's not pi.
Have you ever been pied?
163.63. Pied. Um, I
Whipped
put
cream,
my
pie,
Yeah,
face.
I put my face in that little hole when I was at the grocery store. They were doing some special event. I was the poor sap whose face went in there, and I a couple people got it, nailed it. I had to smile and pretend like it was so much fun. Yeah, you did it. Ha 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 ha. At least it wasn't shaving cream.
Yeah,
I
at
was
least you can
pied.
eat pie.
I was pied, and it was not shaving cream. It was whipped cream, but
Yeah.
it wasn't fun, and it wasn't throwing. It wasn't even. They were joking. It was a joke, and it wasn't funny. Yeah, I was wondering if you've been pied like that, like by a friend or something. Just
Wouldn't it suck to
run
be
up and
pied
pie you
with
and
an
take off
apple
running.
pie? Like,
Huh?
wouldn't it suck to be pied with an apple pie
Yes. I was
or
angry
like
because I got pied with whipped cream and it was all over my shirt. So an apple pie,
the whipped
yes,
cream
I'd
would,
be angry.
oh, blueberry pie. Oh, that would ruin your shirt. Blueberry
Oh
pie.
man. Yeah.
All
Buy
chunky.
me a new shirt.
What's the worst pie to get pied with?
Anything red or purple
Oh, I got it. Mud
or
pie.
blueberries.
I had oh, what's the what's that one, like a meat pie or something?
Oh, oh, yeah.
Shepherd's
Beef
pie.
pie?
Mincemeat
Shepherd's
Shepherd's
pie.
pie
pie.
would be pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Mm.
or
Um,
this might be a little off, but like I'm thinking back to King of the Hill, and Peggy always made her Frito pie with Wolf brand chili.
Ooh,
So a dish of chili with crunched up Fritos on top would suck to get in the face, especially if it's still hot.
it burned, yeah.
um,
Um, yeah.
what I was
Solving
gonna
the
say
deep
earlier is
mysteries of the universe here. That's what we're doing.
what I was thinking earlier is that I forgot what we were talking about in particular. I think you were saying no time ever happens twice or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah, we
my
were
theory.
having a conversation that we didn't finish about how old you are. Are you 1 year old or 1 year old in 1 second? How does that happen?
Uh, well, I, I just came up with this because you guys will probably know,
I mean,
the
you're no longer 1 years old. 1 second after that, you're 1 years old in 1 second.
I have a lot of physics theories, but the philosopher Democritus, who split the rock in half and then split it again, then split it again to prove that there's endless, where does it end? So it's kind of the same thing with time. I've always wondered, uh, we got the next second, but there's another half second and then another, but I understand we're moving forward in time. It's just like, am I just, do I just sound stoned or something? Or am I
No,
onto something?
I was listening. Go ahead. You don't
Uh,
sound stoned.
uh,
is or like yeah, because I've always just been obsessed with the concept of the if matter
Yeah.
can be
Planck,
continually split. What about time? Is
there's
it?
a yeah, there's a degree of indeterminacy that comes from the uncertainty principle. And so from that you can derive a theoretical limit, uh, a unit of time, um, beyond which no meaningful measurement could possibly be determined, and that's been referred to as the Planck scale, Planck time. Um, so yeah, theoretically, it's the shortest time measurement possible, but that's time measurement. That's not smallest unit of time. So it's not
Okay.
necessarily saying that the universe operates in a series of frames like a video image does, that,
Oh,
with each universal image occurring at the next unit of Planck time. But um
you have to
yeah,
assume that
Planck time
time
is roughly
is
10 to
ending.
the negative 43 seconds. And to date, the smallest time interval that has been measured is a zeptosecond, 10 to the 20, 10 to the negative 21. So we've got a long ways to go before we get to the limit of uncertainty per
Mm,
um, quantum mechanics. So it's
okay.
an interesting thing to ponder, because the smallest measurement that is possible, like philosophically, that does, that's,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Smallest measurement versus, actuality. But I mean, functionally, there can't really be any difference, right? Who's to say that the universe doesn't operate and exist in a series of, like, frames at,
Well, I'll,
the Planck unit or whatever.
I'll tell you where I came up with this because every time travel movie they put in a time and a date and a minute and you know to go back in time or forward. So I think well, so okay, so does time has every second in time already happened and is the next 5 minutes going has it already happened or are we
Yeah, is it like a
uh,
clockwork deterministic universe?
yeah
And if
like
so, does that
has the
mean
future
that
happened already?
it has existed and relies entirely upon the time travel having existed from its inception, right? You would need that time travel loop to be there in order for the time travel to have already been there to travel back, right? Grandfather
Mm.
paradoxing whatever series of changes might have happened from your initial jump backwards. Versus
well,
forwards, I guess, would be a lot
well,
easier.
that's why I think we live in a deterministic universe because uh, everything well, for other reasons but uh,
Other reasons deserve a little bit of clarification, if you don't mind, because that's an interesting statement that I think deserves to be explored
Okay,
They
sure.
don't
And
Um,
even.
I don't want to interrupt, but I got to take care of some stuff. People are
all right.
yelling at me for food and things. Thank you for having me come chat. It's fascinating talking to you guys. I learned so much and it's so interesting. So,
It's
Thanks
fun,
for
Chip.
coming.
You had a
Hmm.
lot to share today. It was
uh,
really
It's good.
interesting.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and what was I
Hope
going to
to
say? Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
hope to have you. Oh no, you finish yours, and hope to have you back.
Cool. Yeah, it's always fun. I always enjoy talking, if you guys can't tell.
Yeah.
But now I'll leave you on one thing because I thought about this, but I'm not going to go further than this. But so Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that it's been proven that there are not multiple universes, right? But Rick and Morty have proven that there are multiple universes. I would think that's really funny. Anyway,
It
I'm
was.
out of here. You guys have a great day and
All
keep
right.
up the good work because this is fascinating.
All right. It's
All
always
right,
fun.
guys.
Take
Have
care.
fun, man. Bye.
Mhm.
I don't
Uh,
like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, I know. We both agreed that, and I don't know where he gets his, you know.
Maybe we
Uh,
should have an entire hate on Neil deGrasse Tyson episode.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
but
uh,
yeah,
uh,
I don't know. That's
um,
So the multiple universes comes from string theory, right? That's
well, but I don't know. It depends on, there's a lot of different versions and concepts of multiple, like a
well,
parallel universe. There's also something that, that it could be that the Big Bang produced a truly infinite universe in every possible direction of both time and space, right? And so and that the universe is expanding, as we can see with the redshift and the cosmic microwave background radiation, right? But if the universe is truly infinite, that means that there's stuff on the other side of that limit of the cosmic microwave background radiation. And that stuff would exist in a bubble that excludes us and our universe and stuff. So there's,
it
a
can't be truly
parallel
infinite,
universe.
right?
Huh?
It can't be truly infinite, right? Because of
It could
the
be.
second law
It could be
of
an
entropy.
entire. It could be an entire point outside. It would have its own observable universe, but it would be the limit of observation of, at given the speed of light at any given point in the universe. So it could be infinite, and somebody could be in uh, observing the universe at a point beyond the
Okay.
cosmic microwave background radiation. And, because otherwise, if there is nothing beyond the cosmic microwave background radiation, that would imply that we exist and our solar system exists as the absolute center of the entire universe as produced by the Big Bang, which to my
Oh,
knowledge there is no center as far
yeah.
as as astrophysics goes. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's the center of what we can see for sure, but um yeah, there's no reason to say any single place is any more important than any other place. And that's another thing that has bothered me about time travel movies. They always just say we're going to go to such and such a
Right.
time or whatever, but why is it necessarily just a given that they're going to, like, that the Earth will be at the same place or whatever? The Earth is spinning and orbiting the sun at, thousands of miles per hour, and the sun is hurtling through space with the Milky Way galaxy spinning around the galaxy and stuff. If you look from, an external reference frame, the Earth is moving all kinds of, it's circling like a corkscrew around the sun and the sun moving in a big. So why do they never have to specify that they want to travel through space back to that particular location?
Right. Yeah, that was always an interesting concept for me too. Well, one second, I'm listening. But
Um, I don't know. Time travel's entertaining, but
like that,
there's,
that
It's interesting to hear.
yeah,
Being that
there's a
I
they
lot.
got
know,
the H.G. Wells concept like where he stays in one place. Yeah, okay. That always that always bothered me.
I
But it was a
mean,
fun. It's a fun movie and fun concept.
the
Um,
H.G. Wells time machine, did it entirely disappear or and then reappear in those particular locations, or was it just like traveling through and in contact with the ground at the whole time?
no, it stayed in the same place.
Yeah.
That was weird. Ugh.
Like the Futurama one. The
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Did you
mean,
see
like,
the little Easter egg to the time machine going through in the latest season? They had
oh, there's a new season coming out.
yeah, Hulu rebooted Futurama, so they
Yeah.
got the new season, and there's a little Easter egg
Oh
in one of
wow.
those episodes. The time machine briefly appears in the Planet Express
Hmm.
like hangar bay or whatever and stuff. And in Disenchantment, the um the Futurama time machine passes through the castle at in Disenchantment. So that castle must be built on the same location as the Planet Express headquarters. So
Okay.
since they went through the entire like heat death of the universe, and then there was a new Big Bang, and then a whole new universe that unfolded the exact same way. Would that
Uh-huh.
mean that disenchantment might be occurring before, like in prehistory, but in in the next universe's Big Bang, so that it's like happening before, but not in our timeline? Or I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if they're sort of trying to imply that the new reboot of the Futurama series is occurring in the
I'm still
new
listening.
the new universe. It's like the same sort of timeline technically, but sort of um I don't know.
hey Mark,
Man,
tell him to smash that like button.
hell yeah, man. Smash that like button.
All right. All right.
Hit that bell notification icon thing, right? Turn on
It got
notification.
way too hot in here. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
I'm cooling
You're
down.
cutting him off. He's talking to the audience.
Uh, like, subscribe, bell notification button. Right? Is that it? That's it.
Yep.
Yep. Nailed it.
If you
Hell
guys
yeah.
could hear that, let us know in the comments. If you could not and you need to be repeated, we'll
If
try.
you could not hear that, then how would they know to let us know? Right.
Hey, we'll
Right.
figure it out.
Um, yes. That's kind
Um,
of a conundrum. If they tell us that they could hear it, how do we know that they Well, I guess if anybody did hear it, then anybody could hear it. It would just be, I don't know. I don't know. But there was an interesting, I'm gonna need to look this up. There was an interesting video I saw a while ago that um explained something about parallel universes and divergence and stuff. Um, I don't know.
Is
From what I understood about string theory, is that other universes could uh, somehow be related to that. Look at us doing
um
what's
I was
up.
just gonna say I did not have astrology as a class, so I in high school, so I know little about what you guys were talking about. So this one, like I said, a lot of this is a learning type of thing for me. I'm listening and learning and taking notes.
Um, Astrology is the study of like stars to tell fortunes and stuff. Astronomy is the study of space and whatnot.
Like,
Just a point of clarification, not to be an asshole, but I guess
yeah,
kind of to be an asshole a little bit. But you
Um,
know,
like what sign you are, I think, or
yeah,
if you're a
what
Taurus.
sign are you?
I don't
Um,
know anything about space, especially as much as you guys. Don't know where you learned it, but I didn't take that class.
I,
So,
it
um,
doesn't matter.
I don't know where I learned it either, but
um,
Yeah,
I was gonna
apparently.
say that I seen when I watched a whole show. They had these animals, and they were talking about ones that were um like made in that place, and what is it called? Tasmania, or is it Tasmanian or
Tasmania, yeah.
Tasmania? There was an animal. I was thinking like when they bring these animals to zoos and stuff, doesn't it like mess up their way of life? But they have this one animal out there in Tasmania. They say you can hunt animals, but you only get to trap them. You don't get to kill them and do all that. You can't make traps that'll kill them. And that was interesting. I forgot what show it was. But yeah, could you guys do that? My question was, could you guys hunt? And have you guys hunted? We should do
Not
that together.
not an outdoorsy guy personally. I have no problem fishing. I've gone fishing. So if you, I don't know, some may consider that hunting fish.
Hunting
Um,
fish.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you got
I,
to get a license from the state in order to do it. Same bureau that you get a hunting license from, same
Mm.
process, right? Used to be in the state of Florida that you could open carry firearms when you were going to and from hunting or fishing. So some people would protest Second Amendment stuff by like walking on a sidewalk down a big, huge main busy road with an AR-15 strapped to their back and a fishing pole over their shoulder, and they're like walking to this lake over by a park with, a big flagpole protesting, everything, kind of baiting people to call them to get, officers to come and I mean, they'll have all of their licensing and permits and everything all ready to go, but it's kind of like those First Amendment auditors on YouTube who go around like getting in police officers' faces and making sure that they don't abuse power or whatever and filming them. It's kind of the same idea, but with a gun. So
Mhm.
significantly less dangerous, but that's Florida for you.
Yes, that is Florida.
So
Haven't been there to see the outdoors part. I
it's
only got to
it's
stay
cool. It's
indoors when I went there.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's hot and muggy in the summer, but it's the ecosystems, like the natural ecosystems, when you get in the sticks and stuff down in like the national parks, it's very different from anywhere else in the country. So there are some pretty neat things to see. If you're used to like California desert, then Florida is, like 180 degrees away from that. We both stay warm through the winter pretty much, but that's about where the similarity ends. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, go check
I could,
this show out. It's named Alone. Check it out. I'll let
oh,
you watch a trailer or whatever. You seen it?
well, I don't know if I've seen it, but I've seen it on the like the the menu. Um,
Yeah,
menu is not the right word, is it?
be back.
Is it the menu? Yeah, it's close enough. That sounds right.
There.
it
Well,
was
I'm
basically in
picturing
the
like a
menu.
like a Chinese takeout menu, but technically the menu is the actual right word, isn't it?
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna say it is. Um, yeah, alone. Okay.
yeah, you guys, whoever watching, smash that like button if you have not already. Um,
Is Alone a challenge game show type thing, or is it one of those like survival, like out in the wild,
um,
man versus wild, Bear Grylls, squeezing
uh,
moisture out
yeah,
of
it's like
ocean tongue,
just a man in the wild. There's no security. There's no help out there. They're like a 45-minute
carrying the
boat drive
camera
away.
himself and
And
stuff,
yeah, you're out there by yourself. There's no like cameras set up. You have to set your cameras up. It's literally a person documenting the whole time they're out there. And you got to check it out. I thought that might be something you're into. I guess it would be a game show, but they never see another person to compete. It's just like
yeah.
whoever stays out there the longest and survives the environment and animals, and you can hunt to survive and all that. Check it out. It was pretty good. That's where I learned a lot about other animals and stuff. I had a long conversation about other animals with my mom. Yeah, yeah. I think that was where I seen the. It was an animal called a patty melon, and yeah,
What?
never seen it before.
Um,
You ever
That
look at a
sounds
patty melon?
that
Um,
sounds that sounds
it
like
looks.
I'm
It's like a
picturing
mixture between a
like a
rat and a kangaroo.
hamster with a oh that sounds like I was kind of a little right. I was thinking like hamster, something like yeah, so a rat and a
It's
kangaroo, you said?
yeah. It's a marsupial. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
it's a mixture between a rat and a kangaroo, basically. You gotta
Hey,
check it out.
that's not far off from what I was. That's cute. I wonder if
Pade, melon,
I
patty
wonder
melon.
if they make bad pets. Um,
That's what they were
they
talking about.
look,
Like, could they bring them to America?
yeah, they look
Isn't
like
that bad for
something
that animal?
people, I don't, it looks like something people would want as a pet, but I don't know. There's a lot of laws and restrictions around bringing animals into the country, especially if they're potentially invasive. If these are native to a climate that could be a close match to something that they're used to, you know, it looks like they're
Used to the
what,
rain
like a
and water.
rainforest.
Yeah,
Yeah, they might have a field day in the Pacific Northwest if somebody happened to bring them in and
yeah.
intentionally or
Bring them
accidentally
in and let them go.
let 'em- yeah.
Oh, speaking of bringing them in and letting go, um, I seen someone put these great white sharks inside of a lake. Um, this guy, he was on his boat and he said he's owned that lake. Well, his family had owned that lake for 50 plus years, and now he's finally seeing a great white that's bigger than his fishing boat. Um, yeah, it wasn't in the news. It was another documentary I was watching. But
Ass-
yeah, it's very interesting. Someone
assault, assault
invest in, huh?
or wouldn't it have to be Salt Lake?
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was, but the guy was saying, yeah, and he couldn't get a video of it correctly, but he can see some of the sides of it and stuff.
Okay. Anytime
But yeah, I got to
anybody
look
says
it up.
you couldn't get a video of it correctly, immediately thinking, oh, it's probably BS. Everybody has a camera with them all the time. You
Possibly,
should wait. Maybe you'll get a video of it soon. Who knows, right? Prove us all
possibly.
wrong.
He
Maybe I'm
talked about
just
it.
an asshole skeptic. I'm certainly the asshole part, and certainly a skeptic too. So hey, yeah, there we go. But maybe he'll be vindicated. But I'm thinking that this doesn't seem entirely plausible to me without a lot more clarifications and qualifications. There, it's I don't know. I'm
It
just
might not have been a
there's a lot
lake,
of
but
people
it
that
was.
like go on the internet and just make up lies. It's hard to believe, but
Um,
sometimes
this one
people,
wasn't on the internet. It was part of a show I was watching.
oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
less
he
likely to be a hoax then, I'm thinking.
he
There
was
could
just
be,
showing the video of like on under him he could see the right side of it, and he said that it was bigger than, like I said, bigger than his boat.
hmm,
I don't know if it was exactly like a small lake or whatever, but yeah,
okay, okay. I stand corrected. Uh,
Are
uh,
we
I don't know.
investigating more strange animals or conspiracies?
no, we were looking at
Strange animals or
at
just
the
animals?
at the pouch weasels. Yeah.
Pouch weasel or the patty melon?
Patty melon. Patty melon a is from the genus Thylogale, which is the scientific name. Thylogale is formed from putting together the Greek words for pouch and weasel. So the genus that the patty melon is from are called the pouch weasels.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're very fast.
Fun stuff.
Yeah,
They
I'm
look
watching too many
cool.
shows at a time because I'm not able to tell you which show I've seen it from. Uh,
Yeah.
but the person was like trying to catch a patty melon, and the he had like the net to drop on it when it went in a certain place, and it went in the net, and he just couldn't get it. It went in the net and just like cut out and disappeared out of the picture. And they're fast
Yeah,
and agile.
they look fast. Tiny little things like that with the big back legs that looks yeah. But looking here, the dusky patty melon, it basically looks exactly like a kangaroo, just tiny.
That's what I was thinking. Look, it looks like a rat and a kangaroo at the same time. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Damn it, I'm the show that I watched it on is like on the tip of my tongue, and I can't get it out. I forgot what it is. Oh yeah. We are 3.5 hours into the stream. Um, I got a list of stuff. We can go as long as you like. I
I
got
mean,
some
I'm
questions.
getting a little worn.
All
Um,
right. Well, we
but
can cut it
I
here.
mean,
Um,
if you got a couple questions or something that could answer a couple questions, but would probably be better prefer to avoid diving into any big new arguments
yeah.
or anything.
Uh, my questions were going to be some. They were going to be in deep. So if we start
Oh,
over, I mean, if we go
okay.
through these questions, this is a whole nother.
Save them for
And I
next
did no
time.
research on it, so I won't be able to help the conversation.
Okay.
But I can
Well,
do my research before Monday, I
yeah,
believe.
now you got a little bit to do the research and
All right. Well,
are we um going to be back on Monday or are we changing the schedule?
um,
Was that
we'll
something we're
we'll
gonna
we'll figure it out. I guess we'll do it. We'll figure it out in due time.
well, yeah. Um